G'day, I'm Owen and you've joined the pub test, and in this one we are looking at an Australian true crime case that has just gone through court and received a verdict, the High Country Killer. And in this particular video you are going to see the 4-hour police interview which spanned over 2 days. It's part a confession by Greg Lynn, the High Country Killer, and also part interrogation by the police, because he's admitting to his role in the deaths of 2 people. But the police aren't fully buying the story. Now, there is that short version of this where we go through the entire case. We give it the pub test treatment. But for those who are interested, this is the raw footage from the police interview. You got 4 hours to sit back, relax and watch, and we'll see you at the other side of it.
Can you outline from the start, please?
Do you have a piece of paper?
Yep. I've got a notepad in here and pen.
Just to remind you of the dates.
Okay, so hang on.
I think if you turn that page that's folded over, you'll find that there is sorry, if I can just
Is there a calendar on
That's all right, I can make it quick. So we're talking about Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Sorry, the hands are very cold in here. Thursday, Friday. And that's the 20th?
Yes.
I left home on Monday the 16th.
Yep.
And I got in very late. The Howard Hut was full.
Yep.
I actually met a family there and I asked them, do you know of any other places to camp? It was getting dark. They said there was a campsite just to the west of the Zika Spur track, near another bushwalking track. I can't remember the name of the place.
Is that up towards the King Billy bit?
Velocio.
Yep. Okay. Yep.
I think that's how you pronounce it.
Oh, that's a hut there, isn't it?
The hut is about 5 k's to the north,
Yeah.
but that's a car park to go to the pub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I stayed there that night. This family also told me that the Zika Spur track was heavily eroded, washed away,
Mm-hmm.
and that would be quite difficult to get down into Wollongata, which was my plan.
Yep.
So that night I stayed Velocio.
Yep.
Next morning I went stalking by myself down into the valley to the west of
Butcher Country?
Butcher Country.
Did you want to turn that map over?
Okay.
It might be easy for you.
I think that's we've got Howard Road, Zika, and then there's Butcher Country.
That's what we're talking about right here. So I went stalking down in here. I didn't see any deer. Going back up onto the Howard, going to the Butcher Country track.
Do you want to mark that so I don't forget?
So you're going.
Down into here, and up onto the Butcher Country track. Back along there. Actually, I did see a male stag down in this area. He was very quick. He was off. At this point, I saw a lot of activity down at the Zika Spur track. There was a party there working on it. So I put my rifle securely away in the bush. I didn't want to walk up to a group of people with a rifle in hand, scare them, and made contact with them. The ranger was there. I asked him about the track. He said that they're working on it, should be ready to go tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, thanks very much. He asked what I was doing. I said I was hunting down here and that I was camped up there. So I retrieved the rifle and walked back to camp. Went to the camp. Later that afternoon, the ranger came up. He said, "Guy that you mentioned with the beard," and He was very courteous, very nice guy. Just wanted to see license and registration, and showed him all that stuff. So that's on Tuesday.
Yep.
And Tuesday night, that's also at the Leisure. There was a lot of people camped there. On this night, there was, I think, 2 other cars camped there. I just stayed by myself to the edge of the campsite. This night, there was maybe 4 or 5 different groups there. Just stayed by myself.
Yep.
Wednesday, I packed everything up, drove down early in the morning to the Zigazpur track to see if they had fixed it. It was still the same. There was no activity happening. Will I continue? Will I not? Faithfully, I decided to negotiate the washout.
Yep.
And go into the Wanaka, which was pretty tricky.
Was the washout to the left?
No, it was the entire road.
Okay.
But the access was via the left.
Yep. Okay. Yep.
And it was driving around the washout and down a very steep, irregular bank. And if you cop that up at all, you'd end up rolling the vehicle into.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't.
Well, you've seen my truck. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter. It's old. It doesn't matter if it gets beaten up. Well, continued on down the Zigazpur. And found the Wanaka Valley. I've only been here once before, 20 years ago. I don't know it very well. I drove up to Dry River. I had a look at the campsite to the west of the Dry River Wanaka Junction. It was empty, but I thought I'd have a look at some other sites. I came down and had a look at the campsite just to the east of the Wanaka Junction. That was a pretty one as well.
So, just in relation to the campsites,
Yep.
the ones that you looked at, was there anything in particular that stood out, like as in a landmark on any of them?
Oh, the river itself.
Yep.
They're easy to.
Yep.
What are we talking about? You were talking about here.
Yeah.
So there's a campsite.
I'll put the X there.
Yep. There's a campsite here.
Yep.
There's a campsite right there.
Yep.
And I met the sprayers right here.
Oh yeah.
So they weren't up on Zika.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are either of those the ones that have got the swing bridge? Did you see the homemade?
The swinging bridge is right where the sprayers were.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. Yep.
They were right next to the
Yep.
swing bridge. Being new to or unfamiliar with the valley, I only have been there once before. I did ask them where there was a nice campsite. I'd already seen 2. And they said the one right here was very nice. And it was like I went in there and I set up camp.
Did they call it something?
No.
Yep. Just that various people have names for camps. That's why I asked.
Well, I've heard the campsites being referred to as Dry River Camp, but I would have assumed that they were the Dry River Camp because they're on the Dry River.
Yeah, I would assume the same. But anyway.
This is unnamed.
Yep.
I set up camp, and that afternoon I drove the patrol up the Dry River track. That's not depicted correctly. The track is actually to the east of the Dry River there. That's all wrong. The most route at least goes over this way.
Yeah.
There was a campsite down there. There's clearly some hunters that have been camping there. They have a big stash of stuff under some blackberries.
Mm-hmm.
I noted that as a more isolated place for potential camping in the future. I went for a deer stalk up this way through a very open, relatively flat area, just lightly wooded. Didn't see any game. Came back, jumped in the patrol, went back to camp, and spent a night there.
So is your camp the one with the toilet block?
There is a toilet there,
Yep.
but it had a very large huntsman spider in it, so I'm reluctant to use
At
it.
least it wasn't a redback.
Okay. So that was on Thursday or Wednesday?
This is
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yep. Wednesday.
So we're here.
Yep.
On Thursday, pardon me, Thursday in the morning, on that day, I went for another short walk up through here, again didn't see anything, came back, and it was then at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, thereabouts, when two motor vehicles came tearing along this track at very high speed, and both of them came to a stop. Well, one of them came to a stop inside the camp, the other one came to a stop up here on this track.
Do you remember what cars they were?
Yes. The first one was being driven by Russell Herald and Carol Cloak's passenger.
Yep.
And that was not when you believe they arrived, that was on the Thursday.
Yep.
I was down by my camp. I saw them pull up. I remember seeing, as he came into quite high speed into a stop, she looked quite alarmed in the car, and he jumped out. He was very jovial. Yuck, 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 yuck. The other car was just sitting quietly up here. It was a white vehicle, both white. I couldn't tell you the make or model. It might have been a utility. And the guy that was sitting in the left-hand seat was just staring at these guys.
Was that up near the toilet? Was that car near
Yes.
the toilet?
Anyway, made greetings. G'day, how are you? Met each other. He was quite friendly at the time. And he just made comment that these donkeys had been chasing him all the way down here, trying to get in front, driving on the grass, yah, 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 whooms. And he had to drive very quickly to get into the camp because they were right behind him.
Can I just pause you 1 second?
Yeah.
You said a white four-wheel drive,
Yes.
like a Land Cruiser or something?
It could have been a utility. I'm not sure.
Did you see the guys at all?
Just from a distance, just staring.
Yep.
Just
Okay.
ahead.
Yep. Yep.
They're inconsequential to this thing.
Yep.
Anyway, eventually they moved off. They drove off to who knows where. And he said he's going to set up camp. Well, there's hundreds of other places to camp. If you want to camp here, it's a free country. You can camp wherever you like. Fine. I would have preferred to have it by myself, but it doesn't bother me. I'm camping with other people up here anyway.
Yeah. So you would have been down on the river itself?
Close to the river.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's like, if I can describe it, there's like like a bowl, if that makes sense.
So the river comes down like this.
Yep.
And the track is, it's got a creek that runs down like so. Track runs along here. It goes up that way. Goes in, there's your toilet block. And then the campsite. It's like that.
Yeah.
Just
Big
at
tree.
the
Yep.
entrance of your markings there, is there particularly large trees from memory?
Oh, there's trees all around here.
Yeah.
This is all forest.
Yep.
Yep.
All of that's forest.
Mm-hmm.
The big tree in the middle.
Yep.
My camp was here.
Yep.
And
Okay.
They came in after the greeting, very cordial, very, very pleasant. They camped there.
Yep.
Later that, when are we talking about?
So you're talking on Thursday.
Thursday night was uneventful. I didn't see them at all. That was on Thursday. Friday, I woke up in the morning, and I did go up to the lavatory, braved the huntsman, came back down, and saw them briefly just this morning. And I got ready for some more stalking. But they might have told me at that stage about the bridge over here, which was up this way.
Yep.
And on the initial greeting, Mr. Hill told me that he'd been, he built the track into the Zika spur and blah blah blah. He'd
Yep.
been there many times. So on this is on the Friday.
Yep.
I took my Ruger American Ranch and slung over the shoulder unloaded, walked up this way, and as I passed them, at this point right here, I just said g'day, and we had a conversation there. He said that, and this is quite unusual. He was a little bit, when I first met him on the Thursday, he was quite cordial, but on this occasion he said that his words were he didn't mind the deer, and that he was actually out here to remember a colleague a friend of his, who was recently killed deer hunting. And he was smirking as he said it, and then she piped up behind him, accidentally killed. And he just continued staring at me. I don't know. Beats me.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay. News to me, but anyway.
Yeah. So off I went.
Yeah.
Across the track, went up this valley, and spent a couple of hours up there.
So where did you go? Sorry, you crossed the bridge.
Up this one.
Oh yeah. Yep. So you crossed the swing bridge.
Yeah, and
Yep.
up the valley.
Yep.
Didn't see any deer. Lots of sign, but didn't see any. Came back, and as I was coming back, unloaded as I was getting closer to the camp, but I could hear this buzzing sound. I stepped on a bee's hive or a wasp nest or something. They were all around, but I couldn't see any.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know what it was. I was scratching my head. I was wearing a hat. So figuratively speaking, scratching my head, didn't know what it was. It disappeared. Continued walking down. And then I heard this sound again. What is that? I looked around. No, I haven't stepped on anything. It was really loud. I couldn't figure out what it was. And I looked up and there was a bloody drone right above my head. And that was bizarre. And then as I looked up, I only had gaze of it for a couple of seconds, and then whoosh, and it was like gone.
Yep.
All right, what's this all about? So I came back to the camp, crossed over the river, not by the swinging bridge, and
It's not overly deep there.
No, you can just quickly wade across. And it's getting late in the afternoon by this stage. And as I come into the, so it's just on dinner time. As I come into the camp, look, I didn't know where this drone was from, but as I came into the camp, where I was, unloaded rifle, but still in hand, this guy walks out over to here, on the other side of his car,
Mm-hmm.
the controller in hand, drone sitting on the ground, zips the drone up, and it just hovers there for about 10 seconds, straight back down, puts it under his arm, and took it back to his camp. I thought, what the hell is this? What's going on?
Mm-hmm.
Drones are cameras.
Yeah,
They're
of
flying
course.
cameras.
Yeah.
And so I didn't go and confront him over this straight away. I sat down and I just thought about it for a while. What's this all about? And I was getting my dinner ready. Then I decided to go and find out what this drone incident is all about. So I walked up there, unarmed, and I asked him why he was using the drone, and he said that he didn't like deer hunters, and that he had some video footage of me now hunting, close to the camp. And I said I wasn't. I was right up the valley, but he's got pictures of me with the rifle in hand, close to the camp, and that he was going to take those pictures to the police. And I said that's just ridiculous. And he said, well, I could just say that you shot through the camp. And I didn't. But so I think the whole purpose of it was he just wanted me to go.
Yeah.
Anyway, went back to my camp, had my dinner, and Yes, I was annoyed. Didn't do anything about it, but I did turn the stereo up and played some loud music, which is a bit of a childish thing to do. And yeah, just to annoy me. He's going to annoy me like that. Just to annoy him back. Anyway, I had the doors on my patrol open and playing the loud music. And it was now dark, and I had my rifle packed away in the bag. I also had with me a Barathram Arms straight bull shotgun, which was also in its bag, and the ammunition for that was in the front seat, just sitting on the front seat. And it was later that night, it was after a couple of hours, I could hear some rustling around, and I looked up and I could see Mr. Hill walking away from the car. He had the Barathram shotgun in his hands, and he had the magazine, which foolishly I had loaded there, and he walked back to his car, which was parked here.
Not looking at anything and just listening to what you were saying. Is the gun that he's taken from your car still in the bag?
No, it's out. So I'm sitting down here around the fire, and he's come up like so, and he's taken the shotgun out of the rear door. He's got the ammunition, both doors were open because I was trying to annoy him with the music, in the magazine from the front seat, which is foolish, and I've broken the law. In that case, I should have had him locked up. He's come back here to his car, around this side he was standing.
When you say at that side, is that can you put like a V for the front, like the front of a vehicle? So
okay, front, rear, and mine is front, rear.
Yep.
And I came around here and I confronted him, give it back. You know, what are you doing? And he said he was going to take that to the police with him. And then when I advanced towards him, he had the magazine in the shotgun at this stage. He pulled the action back, and he let a couple of rounds go into the air. I immediately ran around the back here, fearing that I might be going to cop the next one, and I waited. It was in shadow around here, and it was dark. I didn't want to run back towards my car, because if he was going to shoot me, then he would have had a clear shot. I then hear Mr. Hill coming around this side of the car, and so I kept under the shadow, and I moved in closer, again fearing that if I ran this way I'd cop another one. I saw the barrel of the shotgun appear over the bonnet, and to try and disarm him, I jumped up, I grabbed the shotgun barrel with my right arm, pivoted around so I was facing him facing away from the bonnet of the car. I had the left hand on the stock, right hand on the barrel, and we wrestled. The shotgun was pointed over this way, and it was discharged. My hand was not on the trigger, it was on the barrel. Right hand, left hand on the stock, pushing up against him. He wouldn't let it go, it discharged. It went through the left hand rear view and killed Miss Clay dead. She was shot through the head. I saw her in the peripheral. I didn't actually see which way she was standing, but when later she was laying face down in the ground.
Yep.
Immediately, Russell Hill let go of the shotgun and I took the shotgun straight back to the car. There was another round in the shotgun. I just discharged that to get rid of it straight away, moved the action, fired it up into the air, threw the gun into the bag, magazine out, magazine on the floor, and shut both doors, turned the music off. So he couldn't get at it again. As I turned around and coming back this way, in the meantime he had been with Miss Clay. He advances towards me with a knife in his right hand and a fist clenched in his left. He first takes a swing with his left hand. I blocked that. With his right hand he takes a swing with the knife. I grabbed his wrist and with my left arm pulled over his right, and he pushed me over back onto the ground, and the knife went into his chest. We rolled over and I got off him. He crawled a little bit and then he stopped medically. And then I thought, what am I going to do? I went over, Miss Clay was clearly dead. I came back, I checked for a pulse on Mr. Hill, he was clearly dead. There was no pulse. And from here, I panicked. And I thought, you know, that's my shotgun. There's one person dead, and he's dead as well now. I'm going to be found guilty of this. And I tried to cover everything up, and everything else is pretty much as you say. That was on Friday the 20th.
Yep. About what time?
It would have been about 9 or 10, thereabouts. Like I say, I don't wear a watch.
So it would have been dark.
Very dark. Completely black.
Were there any fires or any lights?
Yes, that's what I was just about to say. His car has a hatch on the back,
yep.
And as you open the hatch, lights come on, so this is all well illuminated right here. My campsite had a fire going, so this was in shadow. This was lit up by just ambient light, and around my camp was lit by the firelight. And then I proceeded, I thought very quickly, what am I going to do? And I thought, I'm going to be blamed for this. So, in hindsight, I probably, if I thought about it more, I would have handled it differently. But I packed up my camp, hitched the trailer, put their bodies in the back, tidied it all up as much as I could, and left the campsite and proceeded. Sorry.
Was the campsite?
Yes, I burnt that tent down.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep, yes, it was to cover evidence. I thought I was going to get blamed for this, as I am, and I tried to remove as much evidence as I could. It was very messy, and that's why I put the tables and things inside the tent.
Yep.
And the gas bottle, I put that in the tent as well.
Mm-hmm.
And packed everything up, and as I left it, the fire, which was started with just a little bit of petrol. The gas bottle, quite surprisingly, immediately, it didn't explode, but flared.
Like vented?
Vented, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what burnt the scorch marks.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you had to turn the gas bottle on. And it was
No.
No, it was already on.
No. It might have had a hose on it, I can't remember.
Yep.
Yes, I tried to drive out via Myrtle.
Yep.
Road was closed. And I had to do that trip again, and it was now about midnight.
Mm-hmm.
Drove back. Down to Wangata, took a little while to find the track across the river, it's very difficult in the dark.
Yep.
Down to here, followed the Wombat Range, Cynthia Range. Yes, extremely difficult drive.
Yep.
Down to this junction.
Which is Randall's and Cynthia, is that right? I'm trying to read upside down.
Randall's is back here. So you come around here, there's a tight right-hand turn, and then it joins up with the
Crooked River.
Crooked River track,
Yep.
which is a hard left-hand turn. I followed that. Couple of river crossings. There are a few people camped along the river here.
Oh, you're going towards Talbotville.
Mm-hmm. Crossed the river at Talbotville,
Yep.
and there's a very large group there. I crossed a river, and there was a very large group at the time you said Talbotville.
Yeah. Yep.
So that was an unusual group, which I recall. There was a lot of four-wheel drives, maybe 20, and they were all cramped in together.
Mm-hmm.
So I gather they all arrived after dark, and with that many vehicles, it's not going to be a family get-together, that's going to be a four-wheel drive club. And coming in after dark, they've driven quite a way, so I imagine they've come from Melbourne, so the Melbourne four-wheel drive club. I continued on past there, I didn't stop. And up to McMillan's Road to that point. X marks the spot.
Yep.
And where I panicked, and it's
Is that called the Grant Track or Union Spur Track?
Union Spur, I believe.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Yeah, you can't miss it. And so that track comes along here, and then down a steep incline going down that way. In here there's a place where it's just wide enough to reverse a trailer and get out, and that's where the bodies were placed. There is a tree here which has since fallen down over the track. You can still drive around it. It's very easy to find, so you wouldn't need me there. And I think that's called the Union Spur. However, you won't find any bodies there now.
Why is that?
Because I'll finish the story.
Yep.
So after that, I drove down here to Grand Junction, drove out, I saw the...
Camera?
no, I didn't see any
Oh.
cameras. I saw the people on horseback,
Yep.
they saw me. I saw, you have a couple of four-wheel drives up this way, but just passing in the opposite direction, up to the Bitumen Road,
Yep.
and then down to Harrogville, etc. I never saw the cameras. The phones,
Yep.
yes, they were in my car,
Yep.
along with the drone. And refueled down in the valley, and continued on, and then took the route that I found past the lake.
Like through Bright and then
Too bright, turned south.
down towards to
that-
Mansfield.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep, there's a lake there.
Lake
Yeah.
Glenmaggie?
No.
No,
No.
Buffalo.
Buffalo. That's it.
Yep.
Lake Buffalo. And it's at the bottom end of that lake where it becomes a creek that I stopped them through the telephones in the water. Then I continued on to Mansfield, refueled again, went to Big River, spent the night there, had a fire, burnt the drone there, and then the next day I drove home by Mansfield, and I washed the trailer out.
What, in Mansfield?
No, sorry. Mansfield was before I got to Big River. The next one down is Healesville.
Yep.
So I washed out in Healesville and continued out. And I was a little bit bruised from the altercation. I didn't tell the wife anything about it, and the rest has been in the news. It was wrong of me to hide those bodies like that. I should have just come straight to the police, to you guys. But that was a mistake, clearly.
Yep.
Anyway, since then, it came under a lot of scrutiny. And so, yes, I'm watching it on the news. And it turned from a disappearance. I just wanted it to go away and just move on and just never think about it again. But clearly that's not going to happen. And so then there's a missing person search, and we were in lockdown. And it is true that I was stood down and I had some real cash issues, so I just went through the garage to sell everything I could reasonably sell, and I sold the camper van, the Jacko Hawk. And I sold another sleigh bed as well that had been sitting in there for 2 decades, an antique one, and that blue trailer, I sold that as well. I couldn't tell you who bought it. It was an Asian fella. And I thought the registration had run out, so I just took another place off and sold it as is, and he took it like that. But I don't know who he is, don't know where he took it. And then the lockdowns ended in June. And I went back up there and I had a look. And I thought, I would have thought that someone would have found them by then, but no one had. Thought what to do. So I covered the bodies up with sticks and logs and left it. And shortly after that, snows came, and all of that was under snow. More lockdowns, and the snow's dissipated, and it's now November. And I thought I've got to finish this, and so I just don't want to ever have to deal with it again. I drove back up there, and then just set fire to it, and there's nothing there. So you'll see where it is if you go there, but you'll find nothing there. There's nothing to be found. I'm sorry. But that's the truth, and that's the best I can give you. It's not going to be much relief for the families. There's nothing to see, nothing to be found. Oh, I'm sure that go and have a look. You'll find evidence of the fire, and it is what it is. That was in November
Of 2020.
2020.
Yep.
I couldn't tell you which day. But since then, I know that I've been on a watch list, and it's very subtle but noticeable. I've just been trying to keep my head down and just move on with life and just forget about it, but obviously I can't, and it's caught up with me, and the evidence that you have is compelling, but I think you'll find that the evidence that you'll have will tick every one of those boxes, and if you go to that place, you won't need me to find it. It's very, very easy. You'll find it there.
Yep.
And that's it.
Okay. I wish you had come forward.
I wish I had come forward now too, but I made a poor choice. I just wanted it to go away. Whatever happened, I was screwed. If I had have, we're talking about life and things.
Yep.
I finally found, that group that that I really liked spending time with, sporting them. But that'll never happen now. Likewise with my career, that's done. I accept that. It's fine. But I just guess that in an attempt to hide it, I thought I might be able to just move on and continue with my life, with my family, my career, and these new sporting clubs that I really enjoyed. But it's, even if I had to come to you with this evidence back in March 2020, it still would have been an absolute disaster. Not as bad as it is now, but an absolute disaster.
Oh look, I can't hide that. It would have, but
Yeah, absolutely, and that's why I tried that pathway, which was wrong. I know that, but I'm not making excuses for it. But that's the logic of it. So where do we go from here?
well, firstly, I need to clarify a couple of these points.
Yep.
One being the fire location. That's something I need to do.
If you can get an iPad, Google Earth, I'll show you right now.
I haven't got an iPad on me, but I'll use my
Fine.
phone.
Yep.
Just give me a moment.
Would that work in here?
Oh yeah, well. Yep. Hang on, I'll get this working. Is it better?
We can just zoom in on the track. I
I can
suppose.
find it for you. Take an instant. Google Earth.
When you're talking about the fire, Greg,
Which fire?
the fire in November,
Yep.
did you remain at that site until the fire went out?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
That's how Google Earth works on this. I'll be damned.
Did you have any issues with the fire, people coming along?
No. It'll just take a second.
This computer can do this.
Yeah. Yep. Actually, can we put that this way so that Brett can actually see? If that's all right.
Sure. I'm just trying to find a. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So we're looking.
We're over here.
There's a hut just there.
Yeah, is the hut marked on this?
Is that there? Is it Grand Track Hut?
Where that
Yeah.
Oh,
where
it's
the
a
campsite
former
is.
township. Had a population.
Oh, yeah. It's a massive town. But the way to get there is up this track. That one, then turn right to that point. So that junction there is here.
Yep.
It runs up to there.
I see. Yeah.
It runs around the ridge. Oh, actually,
Oh, it goes
no,
up a bit higher.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is that bit. And then it runs around the ridge. And this must be where it turns hard down there, which is the steep bit. And so you're looking right there.
Can we make that?
Well,
We might have to expand it out because
It's not. It's not
It's
going.
on-
It's not going to give you much because of the canopy above.
maybe if we just go back in a bit. So that's Wangara. So we from that's is that the hut there?
you can see the hut.
Green's camping ground.
Yeah. Okay. So if we go that hut, where do I track?
Oh, you don't need to go to the hut. You just need to go to that track there, which leads you down to the hut.
Yep.
And from there, you go straight up
Up into
that
here.
track.
So that track is. Oh, that track's not that one that ends up there, is it?
No, that'll be McMillan's.
So that track, in fact, goes straight up.
That's
Up
Which-
the ridge.
Yeah, which you can't see because of the canopy.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's a three-way junction. You've got McMillan's Road, that leads down to the main camping area, and this other track runs up to the ridge top.
Yep.
And then this track runs down here,
Yep.
but then that track runs up there, and then across to here.
How far is that track? Do you think? Is it like kilometres or?
1 kilometre.
Yeah.
So it's not over large track.
And you're sitting on the highest point. It's about 1,200 metres above sea level.
Yep.
I
Okay.
didn't pick it because I knew it. I just wanted to get rid of it. And because of all the people, this was the first place that I saw that looked quiet. I didn't realise at the time that it's actually a tourist attraction. This is a place where tourists go.
Really?
Oh, the Grand's campground because
Yeah.
of the history there.
Oh, I had no idea. Yeah. And then I looked it up.
How long did all that take you? Like, I mean, the travel from in the dark would have been a nightmare.
So we're looking around about midnight to go up here. That didn't take very long. And coming back to get to there, it was sunrise around here somewhere. Probably, like I said, I don't know.
Sunrise, you're indicating on Cynthia Range.
Yeah. And then driving up here in the early hours.
Yep.
What was the river like? Because you've gone.
At Talbotville?
Well, you've got from Cynthia and Crooked. You've got 1, 2, 3. Oh, sorry. No, 2.
There were several crossings.
Yeah. Because there's about 20. What is it? 24 river crossings if you do the whole length of Crooked River.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but you up to Talbotville, then you can sort of turn away and up McMillan's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is very steep here.
Yep. Did you have any issues with your trailer and the old hitch? Was it dragging through the tops of the ruts?
Possibly.
Yeah.
Can you know that the shotgun you were describing?
Yes.
Can you just describe that gun? Because I don't know it. That's why I'm asking.
It's
It's got a magazine. You said.
Yes, it's a straight pull Veratrum Arms 12 gauge shotgun. Doesn't have
So it doesn't have.
your standard magazine in the.
Oh,
tube.
in the.
It has a box magazine.
So where do I load it from? From underneath?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
What cartridge? Can
12 gauge.
Yeah, sorry.
Solids.
Oh, they were solids.
Well, that's you're only allowed to hunt deer with solids.
Oh, I see. How many rounds for the
5.
magazine? 5.
During his time, did he say anything to you? Like,
When we were fighting,
yeah.
he was yelling at me. I couldn't tell you what he was yelling.
When just give me a couple of minutes to rethink all this. Did you hear him talking on his radio to his mates?
Yes, he did do that. I'm quite curious. You've been under the impression that he arrived on the Friday. That's not the truth. He arrived on the Thursday. Are you aware of that?
No.
Right. He arrived on the Thursday.
Yep.
And that other car that was with him, whoever they were, they could corroborate that fact.
I think I know that car though.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, each night on the Thursday and the Friday, he used the radio. He strung up on the Thursday. He didn't have strung up the long antenna. On the
Yep.
Friday, he did.
Yep.
Was it around about the same time that he's actually used it?
Yeah, like I said, I don't wear a watch. It was just before dinner time.
Yep.
So you said the
So,
the phone and you said you'd burnt the drone.
yes,
That was at Jamison or Big River.
Big River.
Yep. Did you look at the vision on it at all?
No,
Yeah.
I wouldn't know how to.
I've never burnt a drone. So what happens to a drone when it burns? Does it melt and disappear, or does it?
It's gone.
Yep. And then you mentioned the phones. Where did you dump them again?
At the southern end of that Lake Buffalo, where it narrows.
So
It becomes a lake.
is that where it becomes a dirt road?
Yes, it was off that dirt road.
How far along that dirt road?
I can't remember.
Because that dirt road takes you to Abiard, is that correct?
I think you have to turn off to get to Opiate.
Can you have a look around?
Yeah. Hold on.
Take that in. Can you should be able to search the, there's your ability to search here. Put, say, Lake Buffalo. There we go. Victoria. Oh, it's not on Google Earth though.
No. Buffalo Road.
And that would be towards, south would be towards Wangata.
Yep. Okay, that's right. That's Lake Buffalo there. So we'll bring that down a bit. if you go down, if you keep going down that white road,
Buffalo River Road.
yeah, that ends up becoming the Abbeyard Road.
Okay.
And where it
Well,
hits,
where I turned off in there.
that's why I'm wondering, which way did you go to
It
Jemison?
was up this way.
So you went the bush way,
Abbeyard,
is further down.
that doesn't lead you to Mansfield.
No, Abbeyard doesn't, but that's why I was sort of wondering which way did you go across to Mansfield.
Abbeyard would there would have been a lot of closed roads.
Because of the fires.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where did you come across here?
I'm not sure. I can't tell from that.
Or did you go all the way to along the road around to Mansfield? Actually on the road?
Yep.
Bitumen.
Oh no, it wasn't bitumen all the way. I think it was dirt in places.
So you must, yeah.
On and off.
So did you go across, where's Mansfield here?
We do maps with directions and
Oh, it's on that silly Bing, that's why.
yeah. Click on that on this one here. That I think's taking me out to the
So you would have gone Whitfield,
Mansfield. Yep.
is that right? Where the grey line is?
Yep.
So you come Lake Buffalo via Whitfield, Chestnut, that way?
Chestnut.
Chestnut. I'm,
Yeah,
I'm looking
yeah,
upside
so-
down, that's why. So that's the route you took.
Yep.
So if we go back to that point, wherever the lake is, whereabouts were you talking about?
No, that's not. Oh, no, it doesn't. That doesn't look right. I seem to remember coming down towards the bottom of the lake.
Well, you might have. I wonder what that road there is.
this one here.
What's that road? Rose
Rose
River.
River Road.
So you took that road.
Yep.
And then that road's popped out.
It leads all the way to Chestnut, I think. One of those towns.
Yeah, alright. So you're taking Rose River Road. So if I
It
go
was
back
along there somewhere that tossed them in.
along the river or actually at Lake Buffalo?
Along that river that runs into Lake Buffalo.
I see.
Well, that could be anywhere then.
Yeah. Look, I wasn't really paying attention to where I put it.
Would you remember if you were to drive down there?
No, probably not. I was pretty stressed at the time.
And what was it, light or dark?
Oh, it was broad daylight.
But would it have been an area where you haven't had the need to walk, like park your car and then walk to get to the river?
It was very close.
You would have been able to just
Yep.
turf from the car, from the road?
From the roadside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And was there more than one phone?
There were 2 boats.
Yeah. And were they separate in a bag, or how were they?
Just loose, just separate.
Did you take anything else from the car?
Well, I wanted to disguise the whole thing, so I wanted to make it like I had nothing to do with it, which in hindsight was a mistake. I took the phones and the drone, and that was it. And took the credit cards out, I thought about making it look like a robbery, but I realised that would be silly. So they were left in the car.
Yep. I just want to go back to revisit the. So just so I'm right on this.
Yeah.
So you're obviously you've got the big tree and the X. You got your campfire.
Yeah.
There's that little walkway that runs down to the river.
Yep.
Okay. So you weren't camped in that bit there. You were camped.
That
close.
is that bit there.
Right. Yep. Okay. Now exactly. I know exactly where you are. So you're sitting here. Are you facing?
The fire.
You're facing the fire with your back to the river.
No, it was sort of side to the river.
Yep. Okay. I'm just trying to. So you're
So-
trying to work out how you see.
Okay, so the fireplace is like that,
Yep.
and I'm sitting like that.
Yep. So that's why you're able to see that way.
Yep.
Okay.
And Phil, yeah, I shouldn't have wound him up with the music, and I definitely shouldn't have had the fucking car open like that. And I should have had everything locked away, which I obviously do now.
So where was he when you first saw him?
Well, I only heard.
So you actually heard the rustling. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I heard something going on in the car over the music.
Yep.
And when I jumped up, walked around the trailer, which is parked in here,
Mm-hmm.
and then I could see him by this stage walking back up here with my shotgun.
Yep. Now you said he fired.
He let a couple of rounds, at least loose, into the air. He wasn't shooting at me. Just I let it fuck off.
What was Carol doing at that point?
She was behind him. I wasn't really looking at her. I was just quite shocked that he had the shotgun and he'd loaded it, and that he did that. That she was behind him.
Was she in the tent or standing
No, outside.
behind him, physically standing there?
Yeah.
Did she say anything to you?
She was yelling at him. Yeah. I can't recall what she said.
And then you said that you've then come around to the driver's side of his car.
After he let a couple loose in the air, yeah. And I was just thinking, what the fuck am I going to do? And that's, I thought, run for it, or just wait, and I didn't have time to think about it. He was already coming around this side.
So where were you, if that's, you're talking, say, the driver's side headlight, we'll use that point.
Yep.
Where were you when you said you got in the wrestle with him over the gun?
Right here.
So you're at the, say, the door mirror.
Yep.
Driver's door.
Where was
Hello.
he?
He was here on the blind.
So just so I'm correct, so if we use the table, for example,
He
you're
was
where
He was standing where I am, looking over the bonnet with the shotgun, and I was down in the shadow.
So I'm here where you are.
Yep.
You're Russell.
Yep.
I've got the gun. What am I doing with the firearm? Well, obviously it's a biro or a texter, but what am I doing if I'm standing? You're Russell. I'm you. I've got the windscreen here. I take it.
Yes.
Yep.
All I saw was the barrel. I couldn't tell you whether he had any.
So I'm looking from the windscreen across to you, and I can see the barrel of the gun.
Yep.
What do I do then?
You jump up from the shadow, you grab the barrel of the gun, and you push it around.
So I grab the gun and I push it up.
And around to that one.
So over your shoulder.
Yeah. And
Yep.
he then spun around, now with his back to the bonnet and with me facing him, with my hand on the stock and on the barrel.
Yep.
And then we wrestled. I told him to let it go. He would, and kept on wrestling, and then back.
So you've got the firearm So basically end to end, is that what
Yeah.
you're saying? Yeah. And do you remember where his hands were positioned?
I was looking at his face. He had one hand on the stock. I couldn't tell you which hand it was. It's a pistol grip.
Okay, this is what I mean. I didn't know the firearm,
Okay.
so. Yep.
He had the one hand on the pistol grip. I'm not sure which one it was, and the other hand, I'm not sure where that was either. I was looking at him in the face.
Okay. So then, where was Carol then? So she was.
She's over on the left.
So she's
in
near the
campsite.
tent.
Yeah,
Was she still outside the tent?
outside the tent.
Yep. They had like a toilet thing.
So we're right next to the toilet.
Yep. Okay.
The toilet is there.
Let me. This might make something a bit easier. I'm just going to get a photo. Okay. So that's obviously the rear of the car.
So the tent was here,
Yep.
and I came up this way
Yep.
to retrieve the rifle. That's where he was standing. He told me to f*** off.
So he's at the front of the tent?
Yep.
Yep.
And it's a straight pull. It's very easy to load. Like it's idiot. It's just like you see on the movies with the armor lights. Just pull it back and let it go.
Yep.
And bang! I yelled at him to give it to me, and he put at least another one in. He might have 2 or 3. I'm not sure. But just into the air. He didn't shoot at me. And that's when I took off around the car. What the f*** I'm going to do? And should I run for it back to my vehicle, which is here? And the next thing I know, he's coming around this side.
Yep.
And I ducked down low against his driver's door, and when I saw the rifle popping up over the barrel, I tried to disarm
Over the bonnet, you mean?
over the bonnet, grabbed the barrel with my right hand, pushed him around onto the car.
Now you said that. So the shot went through the mirror.
Yes.
Yep. Did it blow the mirror straight off the car?
It put a hole right through the mirror, about that round,
Yep.
with the solid, and then went into Miss Clay, who was left lying here,
Where did it hit her?
in the head.
That would have been confronting.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Was she standing up at the time?
Crouching.
Do you think that the round was deflected by the mirror, or was it on that projectile angle?
I don't know. It would.
If she was crouching, is why I'm asking.
Okay, no, it would have been like downward a little bit,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
she was crouching
Yep.
down.
So they had. Let's see if it's on the next photo.
I just saw her in the background.
Right.
Didn't see exactly
Yeah.
what she was doing.
Let me go back to this one here. That's what I was looking for. So we've got his snorkel on his car.
Mm-hmm.
So you're standing.
Down here.
Yep. So you're standing near the front wheel well and door on. Basically there.
Yep.
Yep. You're crouching now, you
Mhm.
said,
Yep.
and he's here at the front of the bull bar.
Yep.
Yep. And then you said the barrel's come across.
Like so.
Yep.
I saw it and grabbed it.
So you then grabbed it, and you said you spun around.
Uh huh. And so I pushed him back with his back towards the
The
bull bar?
bull bar.
So his head would have been towards the air vent on or the
Not
air
back
intake.
that far.
But I'm saying,
Yeah.
you know, you pushed him this way.
Yeah.
In that direction.
Yep.
And wrestled around, tried to get it off him, and the barrel was pointed down this way when it discharged,
Yep.
and went straight through that
Mirror.
mirror, and then through Miss Clay, and would have gone into the ground there somewhere.
Yep. Okay. Let me go to. So now we've got a picture here of obviously the burnt out campsite.
Mm-hmm.
Where was she?
In this area here.
Okay, so she was. There was like a battery here or
Yeah.
something. Did you see the
It's
battery?
there.
No, that's
That's
right.
the battery there.
Here, or she might have been back there, somewhere in here.
Yep. If she had the shot through the head, how much blood was there?
Lots.
Did you clean the car at all?
I did. Like I said, I tried to cover my tracks,
Yep.
and it was all over the area as well.
Whereabouts on the car was it?
Just on the, just the little bits of splatter here and there.
Yep. But it was all over this area. Did you set fire to the ground to make sure that?
Yes.
Okay.
With an accelerant or
No, just with leaves.
Okay.
Yep. Now all of these bits and pieces here, all the stove and all this.
At the stove, I don't recall. Maybe I put it in there. I can't remember that. That's a gas bottle, I think, isn't it?
Yep.
And
There's a gas bottle there too. There's two.
oh, okay. Oh, I don't remember. Maybe I put two in. Maybe I just put one in. I can't remember.
Yep.
This stuff, was that inside?
Yeah.
Yeah, that I would have put in as well.
Yep.
There's at the back here. There's a solar panel.
Yes, that I'll put in as well.
Yep.
Was it in or outside, like leaning on the tent, or
No, I think I put that in.
okay?
Yep. Okay. So if I go along a bit. Did you put the mirror in the fire? The car mirror.
There were bits and pieces of it all over the place.
Yep.
Some of those might have gone in the fire. Yeah.
Okay. Was this canopy, was that open?
Yeah, it was open.
Did you close it?
Yes, I must have.
Did you lock the car?
I can't remember deliberately locking it.
Did you end up with the keys?
Yes, I did.
What did you
And they
do?
were there with the drain.
So you burnt the keys and the drone together?
Yep.
Then
Just before
Yep.
you go on, in respect of the keys, being probably an alloy, are you aware if they would still be remaining in the remnants of the fire?
I have no idea.
okay, this is their property inside the car. Obviously. We'll get to it.
The fuel that you said you used just to commence the fire on the tent,
There was just a little bit of petrol
was that from
my jerry can.
all right. And did you still have that jerry can when you got home?
I've still got it now.
Oh, okay, that's all right. You hadn't lost anything during the night in the move that you're aware of?
You're referring to the plastic flip card?
No, I was referring to a red fuel container, like a 20 litre fuel container.
No, I
When coming out of the Wonnegata Valley, there is a part of the track that's old.
Oh, you mean the high track and the low track?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember which part?
The low track.
Okay. No worries. And that would have had a steep up.
At the end, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. That in that location just before the steep up, there was a red 20-litre fuel.
It's got nothing to do with it.
Thank you.
All right, this is what I was looking for. So, this is obviously the that's where the toilet block is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you said that you saw him pull in here, and there was a white. There was another four-wheel drive or something.
Where is the photo taken from?
Oh, so that's facing out into, there's that little valley. So that's facing out of the campsite through the road.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
The track can also come from that direction.
Yeah, no, they
Yeah.
came from this way.
Yep.
And so there's a bit of a dip down here, isn't there?
Yeah. Oh, hang on, we'll just go to the next photo. That might help.
Just the perspective doesn't look familiar.
Give me that. So that's now facing that way. So we were facing back this way.
Yeah.
So if I go back to that photo.
So, yeah, he tore in here
Yep.
at a high rate of knots, and the other car pulled up, getting to a stop right there, facing that way.
Yep. Okay. Yep. All right. So then, if I go this way. So will you? That's his spot there. So is that your campfire there, or?
No, it's further down to the creek.
Yep. Yep. Hang on. So
No.
there's the big tree.
Yep, and I'm parked over here, facing that way, and my campsite's down in that. Well, you can't. It's almost out of sight.
Yep. Where I was referring to earlier was down there.
Yeah, yep. Down here, and the campfire's down here. I could see my car up there.
Oh, so you were a bit further away from your car.
I've got the trailer in between.
Yeah. Yep. Now I know exactly where you are. Yep.
Had you moved the car to that position in order to play the music, or that was just where
It's
you
just where I parked.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hang on.
And normally I don't play music at camp at all.
Do you remember what you were playing?
No, I think I picked the most annoying things I could find.
Have you got a stacker in the car? Is it?
No, it's just in a box.
So I mean, it's a single.
Yeah, take them out.
Time. Yeah.
So that's a different angle. So what I think you're saying. So Miss Clay would be laying just here,
Yes.
where the grass is burnt there.
Yes.
Okay.
So feet, head, face down.
Yep. Okay. Where did the bullet? Do you remember which direction the bullet went through her skull? From the rear or the front?
From the rear. Would have been said, or rear or the side. I wasn't looking at her at all, so I didn't see an impact. But she was face down, so it would have been on the back somewhere.
Yep. Okay. When you placed them both in your car, in your trailer,
Yep.
did she bleed much? Or did either bleed much?
There was a lot of blood. Yes.
Okay. Now, just so I'm accurate with the description of Mr. Hill, so if I'm here, if I'm him, so you said to me that he's advancing at you.
With
So-
the knife.
Yep. So
Yep.
left or right hand? Do you
He
believe?
had the knife in his right hand, but it wasn't like that. He had it like this.
So like a fist with the knife pointing up?
Yeah.
Yep. What was he saying as he's advancing towards you?
He was screaming at me, she's dead. And he might have muttered some other things I can't recall.
Yep. So you get to him.
Well, he
Oh,
came
sorry, he gets to you.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you do then?
He takes a swing at me with his fist, and I blocked it.
So the right or the left?
Left.
Yep. So he takes a swing.
And then with that, he came at me with a knife.
Yep.
I grabbed him,
Yep.
pulled him in, and he was still coming at me.
Yep.
And came down on top of me on my back, and then it went into his chest.
So you've fallen, and then the knife's gone in his
Yeah.
chest. Right. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
And then I rolled over, and got up, and he got up and tried to crawl away. He didn't go very far.
What happened to that knife?
That one was burnt as well. It was a kitchen knife, black handled, stainless. I burnt that with the train. At Big River, yeah. Obviously the blade didn't burn. I threw that into the river at Big River.
Okay. You then put them in the trailer.
Yeah.
Was that a wooden top on the trailer?
Yep.
Table
Yes.
or yeah? So they're underneath that or on top?
No, underneath.
Yep. You've then driven all the way out. You've got to this spot up here.
Yep.
Yep. So when you've taken them from the trailer to the resting place, can you describe what you did there?
Yes. This log wasn't big. Throw it around that way, reverse straight back this way, and then drag them out, and then drag off.
So you just left them in the elements?
I covered them with branches.
Yep. And then, so you've come back in November?
Yes. And set
What-
fire to it.
Okay, what condition were they in November?
No, very good.
Sorry?
With decomposing.
Yep.
But there's nothing left.
How much logs and stuff did you put on it?
Surprisingly, not that much.
Did you put any accelerant on it?
A little bit of kerosene,
Yep.
but not that much. It wasn't bonfire or anything.
Did you wait?
Yep.
Is there a way of recording what day that you were up there? In November?
Do you remember going to Butcher Country? I think you
Butcher
mentioned
Country.
that you actually been.
No, that was in December.
Okay, so that's after.
That's after. Yeah. That's
Would you have rosters that indicate?
yes. From my roster, you'd be able to find out which days I had off. From that, I might be able to tell you.
And would you
I
have
think I
had
had 3 days off.
in a row?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could work it out for you.
Yeah.
If you got me my iPad, I could work it out.
I can't get access to that right now, but
Okay.
I suppose, can you access your rosters on here?
no. Repulse security.
wouldn't allow it.
Yeah.
Okay. Was there any reference, say, to other people's birthdays, significant other days?
No, I don't know what you mean.
Like you've got 3 days off. Say a few days beforehand was somebody's birthday.
Oh no,
Nothing like that.
nothing.
With regards to all the recent media attention that it's received,
Mm-hmm.
the 60 Minutes program that you said that you ended up watching,
Yep.
what was your thought process around that? What were you thinking?
Well, I know that I've been on the radar for a while. Just too many people have said too many odd things to me that would indicate.
Such as what?
A bit like the Truman Show, where everyone knows what's going on, but you don't. You know, like Truman doesn't know
Yeah.
that he's really on TV. And so, for example, the president of the Little River Raiders, he took an unusual interest to me. I'm a very new member. He was often calling me up, sending me messages, and this and that, bringing me over to chat. And
What's his name?
have you been in contact with him?
Yeah, last week. It's the
Okay.
first time I've ever spoken to him.
Really? Just
Yeah.
last week?
Yep, last week. That's all. That's honest to God.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'm just paranoid. No one else has contacted him?
Hasn't come from me. Hasn't come from anyone.
Oh, maybe he's just friendly then.
Seemed like a friendly guy.
He is a lovely guy.
Other people? Is there other
Did
people
he-
that have mentioned him?
At work? Does that name ring a bell? No?
No.
What is he?
He's the manager that I mentioned doesn't like me very much.
Oh, okay.
But, he's the only one that I know that belongs to a four-wheel drive club. And one guy from work would have been in mid-June last year, first officer. Were working together up to, it was a 4-sector day, busy day. But he asked, "Oh, you're interested in camping, this and that?" And he said, "Yeah, he's go camping with my father, but we have to go down to the Murray River where it's always too busy, too many yachtos around." And Dad said he wanted to take me to this new place, and he prints out his iPad, and he opens it up, HEMA Maps, Talbotville. "Have you ever been camping there?" And I said no. But this is in June.
Yeah.
And then he knocked on my door in July, and then I went back through. That was that place where I saw that group of four-wheel drive.
The 20 odd cars. So.
Yeah. And there's only one guy I know that belongs to a four-wheel drive club, and that's my boss. And so I wondered, being paranoid, but he had asked his first officer to sound me out. No.
No.
So do you think he could have been just set on playing tricks on him?
Yes, quite possibly.
What was I going to say? Did you tell Melanie?
No, she knows nothing.
Did you tell anyone about it?
No one. That's out now.
Do you feel better?
I guess so. I just wish it had never happened. I just wanted it to go away when it did. And yeah, it has been stressful.
I bet.
In reference to the fire in November,
Mm-hmm.
and actually remaining in that location, did you have to stay overnight, or
Yes.
was
Yeah, stayed right through the night.
and then in the morning was the fire cold, or have you spread the remnants of the fire?
There was just ashes left,
Yeah.
and I just used a dustpan to scoop it up and throw it around. So there is literally nothing there, but your detectives might find something.
So when you say you've used the dustpan or whatever to throw it around, has it sort of been spread from that location, or have you actually filled it up and then walked some over here and flipped it into the air?
It'll be all around there, yeah.
Okay.
Of like the main body parts,
Nothing.
like the hips,
Nothing.
teeth.
Nothing.
How long did that process take?
Most of the night, just
Did you,
I had to put a few logs on.
were they large logs, little logs?
Nothing that I needed a chainsaw for.
Yeah.
How are you emotionally?
I'm all right.
But how are you emotionally then around in returning to the location and?
Not good. No, I'd never want to go back there.
I mean, my thoughts were that this was the time that you were going back in, because it was a shortcut going via Maroka Road down here across.
I can see why you were thinking that now, but I wasn't.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
on Monday I really was just going up there for some quiet time by myself.
Yeah.
That's all I was doing.
Yeah.
But I can see now, okay, right.
It's a shortcut in. I'm thinking Marathon Road's closed. Unlikelihood of vehicles.
I thought
coming.
from the Pinnacles Road was closed too from the website that I could be on. But that was not my intention.
Yeah.
What I need to do, Greg,
Yep.
is pause. I probably, before I proceed any further, I really need to go up to that spot.
Okay, I'll go back to the cell. I'm quite happy with that.
I really need to clarify some of what you've told us.
Yep.
And then obviously I'll have to come back and speak to you again.
Yep.
But yeah,
I really don't want to go there, if that's all right.
that's fine. We'll
Yeah,
have to-
if you can't find it, then by all means I'll do
I
it.
think with your direction and what's marked on the map there,
yeah,
I think it'd be very.
We should be able to
difficult for us
find it.
not to find it.
and look, you know what? If I'm stuck, well, I'll have to come back and
Yeah.
This tree that you indicate that is down, that was down in November, had that been cut by somebody, like as if they
No.
cut a part out?
So when I went there the first time, it wasn't there. When I
Yeah.
came back, the log is there.
Yep.
I can't remember if it's a branch or the whole tree. It almost goes right over the road, but you can get around it. And
Yep.
it was not cut in any way.
Alright.
And it's only less than 10 metres from here to there.
Yep.
yeah.
You'll see it's a nice wide bend.
Yep.
So yeah, so I need to do that.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've given us a version of events, and
Yeah. I
quite,
should clarify that.
yeah, I just need to do that.
Also, to help you find it, this is really steep. So if you get to a steep section, you've gone too far.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a hard left-hand bend. And I think some campers have been up around here.
Is it a flat section?
This is all flat.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, and then it's a steep up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's like a campsite here.
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk to you today because
Yeah.
by the time I drive up there and then drive back and do
Yeah.
all that stuff, I might even have to do it in the morning. But yeah, I need to just clarify that
Yeah,
aspect.
for sure. Yeah.
And then in the meantime, I'll have a think.
All right.
Yeah. But what I will do is probably finalise these discs.
Well, even in regards to there's the keys, the knife, and the drone. What was the location in Big River?
Yeah.
That was, do you have a map?
Because there's
The Pines campsite?
the pines.
Yep.
And generally in Big River being such a well used area,
There's lots of people there.
and there's multiple fire locations, or was it in a one that has like your concrete ring?
There was actually quite a few campers there,
Yeah.
and I was at the Pines, and it was under one of the pine trees. There were people off to my left and to my right, and it was a new fire site.
But not with
No.
Yeah.
Oh, one thing I forgot to ask you, their licenses and things from their wallet. Did you take them?
Their licenses.
Yeah. Or did you take anything from their wallets?
Look, I don't recall. I don't believe so.
Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to clarify. Did they have any money or anything in the wallets?
There was some cash,
Yep.
and I don't carry a lot of cash, and I use that to buy fuel.
Yeah.
There wasn't much, it was a few dollars.
Yep. So that was the fuel at Harrietville?
Yes.
I didn't think Harrietville had a service station.
Oh, well, if it's not Harrietville, it's the next one down.
Yeah,
It was the
but it was
first
one of
down.
those. Yeah. Okay.
Were there any maps or anything taken from the vehicle at all?
Maps, no.
No.
Just reiterating what we discussed yesterday. So yesterday you outlined a chain of events,
Yes.
and then at the end of the discussion, you pointed out a place up in, I suppose you would like, we could call it the top of the historical Grants township, and you nominated a location off the what's that road called? The
Union Spur.
Union Spur track, and then once we finished with that discussion yesterday, you were placed back in the holding cells and overnight. And this morning, myself and Daniel and our inspector, we left at 6 a.m. and we drove to that spot. It's about 185 kilometres from here, and it was extremely foggy. But we located the spot. I sent some video back to one of my colleagues, Samantha, who you would have spoken to.
Yes.
She showed you the video.
Yep.
And you confirmed that the location where we were standing is the location you suggested at Union Spur. Is that right?
That's correct.
Admittedly, the video was quite poor because of the fog, but you were able to mark a spot and advise me. I spoke to you on the phone, and you were able to advise me where to walk and in what direction, etc.
Yes, it looked like it had been graded over, but that was the spot.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Look, we'll work that through that at probably next week. We'll try and assess the scene, and we'll work through that process. What I wanted to do today, I just want to finish off with a couple of points. Firstly, is this the shotgun that you referred to as a Berethan or Berethan?
That's my Barathrum Arms, yes.
Is that the shotgun that you were arguing with Russell?
That is the shotgun.
Okay. Can you outline how this firearm works for me?
It's a straight pull shotgun with 5-round box magazine. So the box magazine fits in here,
Yep.
safety catch on the left hand side, and the straight pull mechanism on the left hand side.
Okay. With this firearm, so it's obviously got a pistol grip.
Yes.
So is there a particular way to hold the firearm when you use it, or how does this firearm work when you're actually holding it and using it? Normally a shotgun is usually the standard under and over, or
Yep.
type.
It has extendable stock.
Yep.
So it's only not extended when it's in storage, extended for use. And I have it set up for right-handed. I'm right-handed, and so the action is on the left-hand side, and stock in the right shoulder, right hand on the pistol grip, and left hand on the foregrip. I have it set up for thick forest where the light is lower, and that's why I have the red dot sight and the laser sight. So it's only for hunting in confined quarters where you're not going to be shooting for more than 20, 30 metres.
Okay. And you said it takes a magazine from the bottom?
From the bottom, yeah.
Do you know how many?
5 rounds. Maximum.
So it takes 5 rounds in the bottom?
Mm-hmm.
So when you use it, do you need to, like I'm going back to a normal, say under and over type shotgun, pull the trigger in that sense? Do I need to need to re-slide each time?
Yes, it's not a semi-automatic.
Yeah, okay.
It's a bolt-action shotgun. The bolt action is operated by a straight pull mechanism.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Is the trigger weighted? Like, is it a light trigger?
No, it's not a light trigger. It's fairly heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So for me to use that gun, essentially I've got to pull the slide back before all action,
Mm-hmm.
and then obviously once it's just like a standard firearm, pull the trigger and it goes off.
When I say that it's heavy, it's not like a competition pistol or competition rifle.
Yeah.
Just
It's just
they're very, very, very light.
Yeah, I know.
It's just standard.
Yeah. Okay. Have you modified that firearm at all?
Just with the sight.
But no other modifications to.
No.
Yep.
Nothing.
So that's standard as it comes from the factory.
Yep.
How long have you had that one for?
I bought that early 2020. I purchased it primarily to go hunting pigs in New South Wales sometime in the future, but you can also hunt for deer with it as long as you're using solid shot. So I brought that along in combination with my other hunting rifle, the hunting rifle to use in longer range situations with good lighting and for a thicker forest during daylight, which I know that hunt deer in daylight.
Yeah.
I would use that.
Yep. Okay. Is it any good?
Yeah, it's reliable, no malfunctions, it's accurate. It's cheap, made in Turkey, it's not the best quality. But
Yeah. How much is something like that worth?
it's about $700.
Yep. Have you had much practice with it?
No.
Yep. Okay. I've got, but before I go on, so imagine yesterday we were talking about with the firearm that you had the barrel. Where was your hand placed on the barrel? Can you remember?
In here,
So you're referring to
just after the foresight.
yeah. So essentially, just after the foresight, between the sight and that in that part of the barrel.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. Did you have your hand anywhere else on it?
My left hand was on the stock.
So down on the stock. And then you said that Russell had his hands on it. Where was Russell's hands?
He had one hand on the pistol grip and the other hand on the forestock. When I reached up for it, all I could see was the barrel, and control for gun safety, controlling muzzle direction is my primary concern. I thought that I might be about to get shot in the back if I made a run for it, and that's what I reached up for and grabbed that with my right hand, and I was just focused on that.
Yep.
Then pushed around, put my left hand on the stock, and to be honest, I was looking at him in the face. His hands were on the rifle, but I couldn't tell you. One hand was on the pistol grip, the other hand on the foregrip, but I couldn't tell you which was which.
So in theory, for this firearm to have gone off, it had to have already been cocked. Is that right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. All right. Did you clean the firearm after you got home?
Yes, I did.
Why did you clean it?
Well, I always clean them, and as I discussed with you, I just wanted this all to go away.
Yep.
So in hindsight, perhaps I should have just left it.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
What material did you use to clean it?
Gun oil and a cloth.
Yep. So in saying that, am I assuming, or am I correct in saying that by you saying you wanted it all to go away, that by cleaning it you were removing any trace of Mr. Hill from the firearm? Is that right?
Yeah. I just tried to get rid of everything and move on. I realised that was the wrong process to go down through, so I'm obviously here now. But at the time, with the options that I had, I could see all options were bad, and trying to cover it up was one option that might actually offer a glimmer of hope to a normal life, but it hasn't panned out that way.
Yep. Okay. Now, I've got a number of photos that were taken by our crime scene unit. I'll start with this photo. Now, obviously there's other vehicles in this photo at the time, but essentially this is the area that we're referring to. You can see the remnants of the fire scene in here.
Uh-huh.
Yep. And so that would be the fire scene. Mr. Hill's car, if we look at it, would be in this spot here.
Yep.
That would be correct. Where was your vehicle on this, and then where were you camping?
My vehicle, I don't remember that campsite thing there. My vehicle was in here.
Yep.
Facing that way.
Mm-hmm.
And my trailer was down behind the tree, down
Yep.
here,
Yep.
like so.
Yep.
And my fireplace is down in here somewhere.
Yep. Okay. And then your tent would have been just, or your swag or whatever you use is just here. Is that correct?
Yes, I have a stretcher.
Yep.
Which is like so. I do have a tent when it rains. I think I had that up. That was around about here.
Okay. All right. Well, now that sort of explains that. And then when you said that he's walked, so in the dark, your fire was here. Is this the fire that you were sitting at?
And I had a gas lantern on the trailer here.
Yep.
Which was illuminating around this area. It's quite a good one. He had his door up here with this area here illuminated.
Yep.
That's illuminated. That's illuminated. This a little bit illuminated. With shadows around the car here, around the car there.
Yep. Okay. Now, I'm going to skip ahead a couple of questions and I'll come back. You indicated that you were in a fight with him after the incident with Miss Clay. Where did that fight occur there?
Right around about here. It might have been a little bit closer to the car, bit in that area.
Yep. So essentially on that fire, or close to that fire pit that's in the photo, but like you said, you didn't remember it, but...
Yeah, this is mostly covered with leaves, I recall.
Yep. Okay. Now, all right, I'll go back to this photo. No, I won't. That photo's no good to me.
Is that a fire that your team has made when they were there?
No. Well, they might have. I'm not sure.
No.
Yeah. Anyway, So looking at this, so basically where that fire is, you're talking in this area here.
Actually, that might have been there, so it would have been more over this way.
So the fight would have happened more this side. Yep. Okay. Closer to his vehicle than your vehicle.
I don't remember this being of any consequence.
Yep.
If it was there or not. But it looks like it has been there for quite
Yeah,
some
it looks
time.
like for quite some time. Yep. Now, looking at this photo,
It could mean that my car was maybe further back this way a little.
but essentially you're in the right spot, is that what you're telling me?
In around here.
Yep. Now, looking at this photo, which is his vehicle, can you show me where? So that obviously that's where the tent was.
Yep.
And I'm taking he had a tarpaulin with the ropes. Is that right? A tarpaulin or something with these ropes. Burns?
I don't recall. Burns, are they?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think so.
No. Well,
This-
I'm just wondering what
this
these burn marks are.
That's from the fire, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Now, where?
There was a gas bottle in the fire, yeah?
Yeah, two.
Yeah. Well, when they flared, that's probably what's done this.
Right. Okay. When you walked over there, was the side canopy up?
It was up and the lights were on.
Yep. Okay. When you've confronted them, you've come front or rear?
I've come around this way, up here.
Yep.
So I would have been standing around about there.
Yep. And where was he and where was she in this?
She was behind him and he was standing in front of the tent here.
So there's a yellow box there. So he was standing near that yellow box. Is that
Yeah.
right? And she was sort of standing, you're indicating, near the front wheel on the passenger side.
Yes.
Can you remember what they were saying?
She was telling him to stop it. I told him to give me the shotgun back. He said no, he's keeping it. He's going to take it to the police with his drone footage. I don't know how that would help him. And I demanded that he give it back. I didn't approach him. He had my shotgun in his hand, and it was clearly loaded, magazine.
Yep.
I saw him struggling with it. I saw him when he was in the car, leaving the car with the shotgun, and he was fitting the magazine to it. It's not difficult. It's like a Marmalite that you would see on the movies. Simple to use. And I told him to give it back to me. He refused. He cocked it, and then he let one go, not at me, just over my head. But still, I was scared shitless, and I ran behind his truck into the shadow here.
So hang on, I've got another photo here. Yeah, another photo here.
This was down,
Yep.
and I ran around to this side.
So you're indicating you ran around to the, say, the driver's side rear wheel?
Correct.
Yep.
He then cocked it again and let another one go, and now I was really scared. This part, where's that other picture? This one.
Yep.
This was reasonably well illuminated. You could see everything going on here,
Yep.
but being behind the car, it was a little bit on the dark side, so I chose to stay there.
Yep.
I can hear some movement. She was yelling at him to stop it, and then I saw I could hear him coming around this side, and I moved up towards it. I saw the barrel, and I thought this is going to be my only chance to make that safe.
Yep.
And get it off him. And that's when I reached up with my right hand, grabbed it, and ran around to the front of the car.
Yep. Okay. Do you remember what they were wearing at the time?
I wasn't really focused on their clothes, but later on I noticed that she was wearing her pyjamas, and I think he was wearing something similar. I had that music up really loud, and that's what set him off, I guess, in the end.
Yeah. Okay. So yesterday when we were talking, Now, I've got a picture of the front of the bull bar here. So, you're saying, his bull bar has got obviously a black bull bar, there's driver lights. So where on the front were you positioned? Can you remember?
Well, I was down here.
Yep. So you're down at the rear wheel.
Shadow.
Yep.
He was here, looking over the right-hand front part of the bonnet.
So you're sort of indicating with your finger the headlight. Yep.
Well, that's where the right
Yep.
was above the headlight.
Yep.
And with my right arm, I grabbed the barrel, pushed it around like so,
Yep.
to this way, and then his back was against the bull bar. I pushed him back and I told him to let it go, but he wouldn't. We wrestled with it, and because he was pushed backwards, he was a bit off balance, and I thought I could get it off him. And we struggled with it, and it was at around about this position where it went off. I went through that side view, which is now gone, would be about there, I guess.
So I've got a picture of that here. So I've got a picture of the mirror. Well, the mirror frame. So it's gone through the mirror frame, or the actual mirror.
No, through the mirror. Through the
What
light.
was left of the mirror?
Was the mirror with a hole in it.
So, did you remove the mirror
Yes,
from
I
the
did.
frame?
As a part of the ill-conceived plan to cover it up, I knocked the mirror off. But it was sitting there like that. There was some glass on the ground, I picked that up as well.
Yep. How did you get the mirror off?
I'm struggling to remember now. By that stage I was in a bit of a panic. I think I just I belted it off with something, I'm not sure.
Yep. So I suppose we've skipped one step there, but so it's gone through the mirror. Did Miss Clay yell, scream, or did you just?
She was in the background, and I wasn't really focused on her. I was focused just on him and controlling that muzzle and making sure it didn't come near my head. And I was aware that she was in the vicinity down here. She was screaming at him to stop it, Russell, stop it. And I couldn't tell you whether she was kneeling down, whether she had fallen down and was getting up, or even which way she was facing. I wasn't focused on her at all.
Yep.
Until after the discharge, he glanced around and he saw that she was down, and he immediately let go of the shotgun. And he moved around to the left-hand side of the car to attend to her. I didn't go there. I took the shotgun immediately. I wasn't sure how many rounds were still left in it. And so I worked the action, pulled the trigger, let one go, pulled the action again. It stayed open. I knew it was empty. I knew the mag was empty. I took it back to my car. And I threw it in the doors were all open at this stage because the speakers are on the doors.
Yep.
And I threw it in the back seat, magazine in there with it, shut the doors and turned around, and that's when I saw him advancing to me.
Okay. And then you said yesterday he had a knife in his hand.
Yes. In his right hand.
Yep. So can you just run through how that occurred?
It took me no more than a minute or so to take that back to the car, lock it up, shut the doors and turned around, and he was marching very quickly towards me with the knife in his right hand. It was clearly, it was dark, but you could see it, and I could see it, the steel flashing in his hand, and he said, "She's dead." And at that point I braced myself and I put my left foot forward, my right foot back, and he swung with his left arm initially. I blocked up with my right, and he quickly moved with his right hand with the knife, I chopped downwards with my right hand, grabbed the wrist. Again, same as logic with the rifle to control the muzzle. I controlled the blade and just focused on keeping that blade away from me. I then came down with my left arm on his elbow to block his arm there, to make him lose control of it. But he was still coming forward on me, pushed me backwards, and he fell on top of me.
So you fell
Backwards.
Yep.
And rolled over to, would have been which way? That's to this way, to my left. And now he was on the ground, on his back. I got up and stood back towards my car. He crawled a little, and he then just stopped and rolled over, and he died right there.
Okay.
I checked his breathing, and he wasn't. Checked his pulse, and he wasn't. The knife was still there.
Yep. So where was the knife positioned?
Straight through his chest.
So on my side, so I've got so right or left breast.
Like so.
So essentially through the heart.
Pretty much. Just to the right side of the sternum, blade lateral.
So it was lateral. Yep. Okay. So what did you do then?
I panicked. I left him as he was, there on the ground, knife still there, he wasn't moving. I went and had a look at Miss Clay, and he was right, she was clearly dead. And then I thought, what am I going to do? And my business, my profession is working decision-making pathways, and you might think, well, made a terrible one here, but quick decisions to try to come to the best outcome, that's what I do. And do you have a piece of paper?
Yep, hang on.
None of my decisions, whichever pathway I took, was going to make any difference to these two. So, yep, I tried to save myself. If I was a doctor, I'm not obviously, but if I was, probably when I was married, my family would be important to me. Say I had a career, I was a member of the golf club. If I told the truth, as the doctor, and drove straight down to Sale here and told you what happened, my family going to be upset. But it wouldn't affect my career or any other aspects of my life, and you could just move on from that. And there could be a feasible resolution from telling the truth just straight up. If I was a tradie, married, career, fishing club membership, yes, everyone's going to be upset, but none of these things are a problem, and just coming to you straight up and telling you the truth, not a problem. For me, I'm married with a family, yep, they'd be upset if I came to you straight away. Career, the rest of my life with a membership at these two places, this one, uneven, ASIC, my career is over. If I came and told you the truth straight away.
Yep.
It's over. For the simple fact that I've failed the compliance with the Act of firearm storage in a car, and it's resulted in this disaster, that's finished. These two, even more so. What I do with the clubs that I'm involved with, it's not invitation only, but it's only after very careful scrutiny and interviewing that you're allowed to be members of these places. And an event like that, I would just be instantly banned for life. And this at a time when I was actually just finding a really happy place in the world with family, career, and my personal life outside of work. And so this for me was a disaster, and I thought, what else could I possibly do? And if I covered it up, not so much cover up this, but cover up me, to get me, to make me disappear from the scene. And I quickly made this assessment. This is the only one that offered any hope, not guaranteed, any hope of avoiding that. I'm not saying I went through this on paper.
No,
This is just what I think. And then I had a list of tasks to do, and I sat myself about doing it. And I packed up, pitched the trailer, packed my camp up, put them in the trailer, and then looked around at the evidence. There's no evidence of me being out there now. There was questions about who had seen me there, but I'd never actually spoken to anyone other than the blackberry sprayers, and that was 2 days prior. Everyone else I'd just seen in the valley from a distance. And so I chose that pathway. But it very quickly unravelled when at the very first turn, I came to the crossing, and it was closed.
Oh, that's you indicating the Wollongata track that goes
To
out
Myrtleford.
of Riley's, Van
Yeah.
Diemen's
Yeah.
to Myrtleford.
Yeah. And so your witness heard me there, but now I was already on this pathway. And then I am quite sure I was seen and identified by someone at Talbotville. And like I said to you before, from the conversations and the questions that have been asked me since then, I don't harbour anything against him at all. He's just doing what he thought was right. But I was seen there, and so this had the potential of enabling me to live a normal life if I was to cover it up. I didn't have any plan on what to do with the two bodies. By the time I got to here, I was getting really concerned, and I saw that track leading up to the left. It was covered with branches and leaves. It looks like it hadn't been used in years. And I thought, I'll go and have a look. And then I just dumped them there. I covered them over with just a few sticks, but it was very obvious the object was not to make them as such disappear, but for me to disappear. And then I tried to disappear up the road. But for those reasons, the cameras, I did not disappear. And then I tried to go back to that normal life. And then some odd questions started to be asked, and I started to get nervous that this plan was unravelling. And then you knocked on my door, and I realised that, yep, it was unravelling. And then, at that point, I realised that I had to go back. And that's, I had to wait for the lockdown to finish and for the roads to reopen after the snow, because this is all locked off in the winter time. And I'd steeled myself for the task, and I allowed myself one night to do it, and I disposed of the evidence, and there's nothing there now. I told you where it is. You'll find evidence that there is a site there, but there won't be anything else.
Well, just on that point, before I go back and ask a couple of things in relation to the other. So, you're right. There's evidence of a fire, of previous fire, but you've indicated that there's no remains there. How did you get rid of, like, the human body, and two of them contain some really, really large bones?
There's nothing there. I was surprised. I had contingency plans to deal with that, if there were, that I would drag them off at the bush. But there was no need, there was nothing. It's the human body is 90% water. That was all gone. And the fire was largely self-sustaining, which I was quite shocked by. Like, I've been to India and Nepal many, many times. I've been to the temples there, they have the crematoriums, and I've seen them cremating people right in front of me, and they use a ton and a half, maybe 2 tons of wood for every single cremation. But this, maybe 20 kilos. I've no reason to lie to you now. It's it was a self-sustaining fire that burnt from the top down, and at the end of it there was, I had to poke around a little bit towards the end to put it all together, and I did add a few sticks along the way, but there was nothing at the end. Nothing bigger than 20 millimetres long.
Yep. So, just while we're talking about this, so just so I can envisage this, so are they a complete body when you arrive there?
Miss Clay was largely missing her head.
Was that from the
gunshot?
The gunshot, yep, okay. Did they have watches, jewellery, or anything like that?
I didn't notice. If there was any on there, it would be there.
Yep.
But it didn't take anything.
Were they fully clothed?
Yes.
Or the clothing that they were in when...
They were in the clothes that they were in.
Yep.
I hadn't tampered with their bodies in any way like that at all.
Yep.
I just transported them, put them there. And then when I realised that the plan for me to disappear wasn't working because I was now on your radar, that's the reason why I went back to make that evidence disappear.
Okay. Mr. Hill is 6 foot something?
He's pretty big.
How did you get him all in the fire?
I just started the fire at the location where they were.
Yep.
On top.
Was the fire obviously large then?
No, it wasn't. It was surprisingly small. Like I said, I didn't use much wood at all.
Yep. And you said you used kerosene or something, is that right?
A little bit, yeah.
Just obviously to ignite it?
To start it. wasn't gallons and gallons of it.
Yeah.
How much would there be if you
2 litres?
And you said you had a contingency plan with
Well,
you,
I
which
thought
was?
that, like you suggested, that there would be a whole lot of remains after that. And the contingency plan was just to find a deep river to put them in. And there are plenty of those around. I didn't have one in mind, but if necessary. But it wasn't. I don't know, I'm no expert in these things, but I'm sure if you get some advice from people who are with that sort of thing,
Yep.
I'm sure they would confirm that.
Yeah.
Because that's reality, that's what
Yeah.
happened.
Yep.
I know of the cremations that I witnessed at the temples in Nepal, there would be nothing left from those either.
Yeah.
Just dust, and they'd sweep it into the river. But they would use a lot more wood, like a tonne and a half. So.
Yeah. When you left home to travel back up there, was that your intention to burn them?
Yes, it was. Yeah, my intention was to get rid of the evidence because I clearly had failed to make myself disappear off the radar. So that was the last thing. I didn't want to do it. It was a horrific thing to have to deal with. I was sick when I was there several times. But I steeled myself for it and I worked through the night.
When you went there, was it earlier in the month or later in the month?
In the middle sometime, mid-November. I could check my roster if you get me an iPad. I could pick out the most likely dates it was.
Yeah, unfortunately I can't do that, but
Okay.
yeah, not here anyway. And you said you worked through the night. Did you stay anywhere, or is
I stayed there at the location.
Yep. So you drove up, did that, and then drove home. Is that what you're telling me?
I was exhausted after that, and I drove to a campsite on the way home. I was south of Walhalla somewhere in the state forest. I just found a place to put the stretcher up, and I slept there. Stayed there a night to recover.
Was there any were there any bones missing when you went back? Like, was there any degradation from animals?
A wild dog, I assume a wild dog or a fox, had been at the site, and there I couldn't tell you exactly what was missing. It was pretty gruesome, but there had been activity from a wild dog. So if something was taken away, and you find that later,
Yeah.
then I wouldn't be surprised.
Anything in particular that you can think of?
What I think from the call.
If we go back to the car,
Yep.
so his I'll go use this photo again. So we've got the photo of the burnt side of the car. Was there any blood on the car from Miss Clay?
On the car, not so much. There were a few spots here and there, but there was lots of blood over the furniture and a deep pool, very deep pool, spreading on the ground.
Did you clean or wipe the car before?
I went around and I can't really remember which rag I used, but yeah. But I could see I wiped off.
Was it just the blood that you wiped off, or?
There might have been some other material mixed in with it, yeah.
Did you use any chemicals
No.
to assist, or
No chemicals.
just a rag?
Yep.
Had you spoken to them prior to the whole incident? As in prior to the
Several times.
Yeah, but prior to the buzzing with the drone, when they first arrived, or when you first
absolutely.
arrived?
When they first arrived, I saw those two cars screech to a stop and him pull quickly down into the driveway. I came up from my campsite, and the guy in that other car, he probably would have thought we were friends. So, g'day, how are you? Nice to meet you. Okay, I'm Greg, Russell, la la la. So, yeah, just regular greeting. At that point, he said he's going to set up camp there, no problem. I went back to my camp, and then it was the next morning, I think, when he told me that he didn't mind the deer, implying he didn't like deer hunters or deer hunting, and that they were up there, which actually really struck me odd at the time. They were up there because they were remembering a deer hunter who was killed while deer hunting. And she popped and said, accidentally killed. And he was just grinning at me, staring straight at me like that, grinning at me. I thought, there's something between those two. I didn't think much more of it, but it just seemed odd. I think it was in the first conversation, I'm not sure, where he told me he'd been working on the Zika spur and he'd been coming down here for a long time. And then another conversation we had, which was getting more complicated by now, after the two drone sightings in the morning. I thought initially that's really odd, but I didn't think of him. I didn't think it would be his drone. I thought it would be Parks and Wildlife or Game Management Authority just checking on things. And then later that evening, quite late, when I came back into the camp for the final time after being out stalking with my rifle in hand, and I was unloaded with his rifle in hand, walked in, and then he walks over, there's something on the ground, picks up a controller, zipped straight up. I was only there for a couple of seconds, and zipped straight down. And it was just, to get a picture of me walking into camp with my rifle in my hand.
Yeah.
Just getting his evidence for whatever he was planning, and it was that point where I packed the rifle into the car, just put it in, and went up to ask what was this about, because I thought it was Parks and Wildlife, the Game Management Authority, but no, it was him. And he said that he had pictures of me, hunting close to camp, and that I fired a shot through the camp, and now he had a picture of me coming into camp with a rifle, and he was going to go and tell the police about it. And I said it was nonsense, and I left it at that, and came back to my camp. But I was pretty annoyed. I knew there's no basis he could come and make his complaint like that. But pictures are evidence in themselves. If you zoomed in, you'd see that when he buzzed me out in the bush, I wasn't aiming my rifle anywhere. I was actually coming back looking for a place to cross the river. And when he buzzed me coming into the camp, if you zoomed in close, you'd see it was unloaded. The resolution these days is pretty good. And I mulled over it for a while, what to do, and I thought, I could see what he really wanted me to do was just to go, so he could be alone. And I thought, stuff it. This is just ridiculous. So, okay, if he can be really rude like that, I could be rude too. I turned the music up. I picked some albums that are they're not offensive music or anything, but it's from my generation, not his. And I opened all the doors on the car, because that's where the speakers are, and turned it up loud. And it was getting dark by this stage. And I sat down by the fire and had my dinner, and it was after an hour or so of that I heard something up in the car. He knocked something over inside a drink bottle or something. And I looked up and I could see some movement on the other side of the car, and then I stepped out. Over to around about here.
Sort of near that large tree in the middle.
Yeah, just out of my camp because I was
Yep.
down here by the fire. And I could see straight up there and see him walking back to his camp with my shotgun. And he was working one of the magazines into the bottom of the shotgun. He would seem to be struggling with it a little bit, but by the time I'd got up there to confront him, he'd worked it out. And I had them packed away in their bags, the rifle and the shotgun in the back seat, but they are not lockable bags like I have now. And normally the car would be locked at night time. I just didn't think, I thought I'd put the music on and open the doors, but that actually just made it easy for him to get in. And the ammunition wasn't with them. That was in the front. In the morning when I decided to go hunting, will I take the shotgun, will I take the rifle? And I loaded both magazines. They were in the front, and because it was a sunny day and the forest on the other side up here, it wasn't really thick, so I thought the rifle would be the best option, and I ended up taking that. I locked the car up completely when I leave. It was only because I had the damn music on that I had it open.
I suppose in reality you had two options. One, tell us, or one, do what you did.
That's it. And I thought, I'm screwed. And so I panicked. I should have done that, but I panicked and I chose this. And now it's even worse.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you, yeah.
It's much worse, yeah. Yeah, that's what happened.
Okay. What were you wearing?
I think it's the exact same shorts, or same type of shorts, but not the same pair. All my own clothes as a part of this I actually burnt, but I really like this pair of shorts, and so I have several pairs.
Where did you burn your clothes?
In my fire.
Before you left?
Yeah.
Yep.
I just put some other clothes on. I couldn't tell you what I was wearing. I would have had the shorts would have been burnt. I can't tell you what I put on after that. Can't remember. I don't know. But
did you end up with any blood or anything on you?
on my clothes, yes, that's why I burned.
What about afterwards, when you pulled them out of the trailer and stuff?
I think I actually burnt those as well down at where I stayed at the Pines. I can't be sure of that though. I'm not sure. I honestly can't remember.
What about your boots?
Boots, I threw those in the back of the trailer, and I took those with me. I thought that I could clean those up, but then I changed my mind later and I got put them in a rubbish bin close to home.
Now, you said yesterday that you're wearing gaiters, is that right?
Correct, yeah. Burnt
What?
those.
Yep.
Yeah,
In the same fire?
this far. Yeah.
Yep. So you said you burnt your shorts, t-shirt or jumper?
Everything I had on.
Yeah.
I forget what it was.
Okay. And what about their shoes?
Neither of them I can't remember. I don't think he was wearing any. I don't think he was wearing any.
Do you think they'd been to bed?
Yes, I think so. Yeah, they had while I was playing the music.
Because did
That's
you
what
say it was
enraged him because, he was trying to have fun in bed and I was playing music that he didn't like loud and he lost his temper.
was he in pyjamas as well?
Oh, he might have camp pyjamas, I don't know.
Yeah.
They weren't, with patterns on them or anything like that.
Mhm. Did you take anything from other than did you wrap them in? Sorry, I'll start again. Did you wrap them or anything like that when you placed them in your trailer, or
I put a tarp, just a nylon tarp over the top.
was that yours or his?
Mine,
And what happened to that?
burned.
Was that burnt at?
The pines.
Yeah. And then you said that you took some cash. Do you remember how much cash?
Oh, it wasn't much, $30-40.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't carry a lot of cash myself, and I didn't want to be using credit cards to try and help with that plan. I don't need the money. I'm not a thief by nature.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm
No.
just, yeah. And then once you said that, once things started to unravel, when we came and saw you, what was your initial thought then?
Initial thought, well, this plan is not working, and so I haven't been able to disappear. So then I had to make any remaining evidence disappear, and the only remaining evidence at that stage was those two bodies.
Yep. What were you thinking at that point?
Panic. I might have seemed calm on the outside, but panicking internally.
Yeah. Did you think at that point, I've got to come clean? I've got to explain to the police what happened?
It was too late by then.
What did you paint your car?
Well, there are two reasons. Well, one is the obvious one that you'd be looking for a dark coloured one, but the other one was it just needed a paint. If you go and get your finger and just run across the top of the car, where it's still the grey, the paint, it's all faded and will actually come off on your fingers, and it looked dreadful. The paint served its purpose just fine. It's a rust-proofing paint, but I sort of painted it and touched it up several times in that colour, but the grey does fade very quickly and it comes off on your fingers. So I was going to paint it anyway.
Yep.
I didn't go and buy paint. I just looked around in the garage. There was some sandbank there, which I bought I think a couple of years previously to paint the Jayco Hall camper van. Then changed my mind on the colours and I painted that green. And so I thought that'll do. It was locked down, no income, stood down. The car needed to be painted. Suited that plan, and so I painted it. And look, it's the car to me. Most people would consider a car to be something of prestige, but for me, it's just another tool, like any other tool in the garage, like a hammer or a chainsaw. It just needs to be functional. It's not a status thing for me. It just needs to do its job. And to keep it free of rust, I painted in Dulux, what's it called? Metal Shield.
Mm-hmm.
And it actually comes up with quite a reasonable look when you paint it with a nice roller, a good quality roller. It doesn't look too bad from a distance.
What did Melanie think when you were painting it?
Oh, well, she's seen me paint it many times before with
Yeah.
Dulux Metal Shield. So here he goes again, he's painting his car.
So it made no difference in reality.
No. If the neighbour saw it, here he goes again, he's painting his car. That might seem odd, but as I explained, it's just a tool.
Yep. And a tool that you obviously enjoy.
Yeah, it's done 466,000 kilometres. The gearbox was completely shot. It was really low on power. The torque converter was not working, and getting up hills it really struggles. I've just spent a whole lot of money getting it fixed. So it has a reconditioned gearbox now, and it's running like new.
Yeah.
And that's what I was doing on Monday. I needed a long, steep dirt hill to test that new torque converter in the gearbox. And Tamarind Road, that ticked the box.
Yep.
And while I was up here, I had 4 days off. I was going to come down here and camp for 4 days and do some stalking around the Dry Hills track. I was initially going to this one, but it was pretty wet, so I changed my mind and came up here.
Right. And the trailer?
The trailer I sold. During lockdown, stood down, no cash. I think we talked about this yesterday. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
we did.
But I just went through. I can sell that easily, and so the camper van, the Joko, the box trailer, they're easy to sell. They're all very popular. And there was an antique sleigh bed from Scandinavia. Haven't been used in 20 years. I put them all on Gumtree, and they all sold very quickly. If
What's your Gumtree account?
what is it?
You said you sold it on Gumtree. Do you have an account?
Yes, yeah.
Yep. What's yours?
Oh, I'd have to go and check at home on my list of accounts. I think it's just my email.
Yeah.
That's what they normally use, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, I'm not sure, but I'm
Okay.
just asking. Actually, we've got your mobile phone in your car.
Emails you need?
I need your emails and I need your cloud and your
Don't use the cloud.
okay, and your PIN number for your phone.
Okay. You ready to copy?
Yep.
It's emails GREG S for Stuart LYNN at yahoo.com.
Yep.
PIN number for the phone is 666. All the sixes.
You have a work email?
Gregory .Lynn at jetstar.com.
What applications would you have used in regards to your research and travels?
Applications that I would use in research.
Yeah.
Google Earth, you mean?
Yeah, like Google Earth. When you're actually travelling on the road and down the tracks and things like that.
Oh, okay. HEMA is the main one.
Yeah. And will that can you say?
Can use it offline?
Yeah. And are you actually using it, say, putting in from home to where your destination
No.
is going to be, or anything like that?
No, not routes like that.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it tracks where I've been though. It leaves a little red line.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And do you keep that for future records or anything like that?
No.
Would there be any records in regards to this trip at all?
No.
Have they been destroyed or?
Not deliberately. We're talking about something that happened a year and a half ago. You could check HEMA maps. There might be something in there. I doubt it.
We've spoken about some things that you had.
Oh yes, yep. And so prior to going to, say, for example, this place, I reference HEMA maps. I reference the Game Management Authority maps on where you can hunt deer, where you can't. So, for example, in the Alpine National Park, you can hunt deer, but only on a seasonal basis.
Yeah.
Within the Carey State Forest, the rules are there that you can hunt deer all year round.
Yep.
And it's different from place to place.
Yeah,
Those
it
maps define what those rules are.
Yeah.
So you'll find copies of those maps, and then you'll find pictures from Google Earth that I've taken as screenshots prior to ever going to Dry Hills. I'd had a look, and I'd seen that there was potential campsites here, and I've been through the pictures and picked out what looked like thick forest, what looked like grassy valleys, where would the deer most likely be moving through.
Yep.
And so then pick a place to camp and then potential areas to go stalking.
Yeah, fair enough.
And you'll find on that those plans, I've actually made a little a list, if you like. For example, Dry Hills, you make a note, put a letter for, say, X for campsite, and what I've seen from the air, whether it has water, whether it looks like it has wood, whether it's secure enough. Secure being, is it on a main road, is it isolated, is there likely to be a lot of traffic through there?
Yeah. So you're relatively, in my view, quite methodical in
Yep.
regards to that.
Yep.
And have the plans like what you had on this occasion always been the same sort of planning process, or what is different in regards to the Wonnangatta track to this recent trip?
Well, this methodical planning has developed really since then, because of the lockdowns I had a lot more time to go through this methodical planning.
Yeah.
With the Wonnangatta, I'd had a look on Google Earth, but I hadn't actually written anything down on where to go or where to potentially camp. You will find in that map folder a section on the Wonnangatta,
Yep.
and that if I was to ever go back there, obviously I won't be, but up this end would be a more secure area to camp, and up here where the other hunters have camped would be more secure, and to go hunting up the Zika Creek or the ridge, these are more isolated and more remote and would be better places than where I went up this valley. I did go up here, which was good, but there is a walking track up there that's not so good. I'm not sure how many people use it, but potentially.
Yeah.
No, I've used the same plan, same template, if you like. Travelling overseas, I use Google Earth, just flick through Southeast Asia, which is the thickest patch of jungle you can find, and it was Laos, and just zoomed in, picked a river. It's not going to be too rough, not going to be too easy, it's got a bit of a current, not too many people, and I picked the Namoi River, and there's a town up there, and there's an exit point, another town down here. That's doable within a week. And so I made a plan for that, and off I went. And flew into Thailand, another flight into Laos, and then buses, and got all the way up there. Jumped in, and I found out that it was actually like Burke Street, Melbourne. There was people everywhere. But that was problematic in itself. But that's the logic for this.
Yeah.
Brett went over some things in regards to the struggle and the confrontation that you've had with Russell Hill.
Yes.
In that event, did you end up with any injuries?
I had bruises. From where I fell over on my back, I was bruised a little on my back and on my chest. And I do bruise easily now, I'm 55. So there's no penetrating injuries, no cuts, just bruises.
Okay.
And they weren't that bad, they were just light.
And at that time of the year, would you normally say on a warm evening or whatever, just wander around your house without your top on?
Sometimes.
Were these injuries noticeable by others, and would they question you in regards to them?
Oh, you'd have to ask Melanie if she noticed me coming back with bruises. Yeah.
And when actually coming back, family and Melly, do you share your experiences?
Well, she'll tell you if you go and have a chat to her. But when I came back from that one, the whole world was just falling apart.
Yeah.
That was on Sunday the 22nd.
Yeah.
And I'd spoken to her on the Saturday, and she told me, Greg, the whole country is going into lockdown. This is absolute pandemonium. And I said I could tell something was up because of all the cars just driving every which way on every road.
Yeah.
She said you can't buy toilet paper, you can't buy cleaning stuff, the stores are just empty. And right, okay. And so the Sunday when I arrived, she took me to the refrigerator. She had up there a COVID plan that she'd taken from the paper, and spent the whole afternoon telling me about what I'd missed the past week as the world was unraveling. So that was how that day was spent. She didn't ask anything about my trip.
Yeah.
Because there's so much else going on.
And did that give you some comfort that she wasn't
Yes.
really interested?
Yep. Camping's not everything anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. In reference to this particular trip and leaving with your trailer, pictured, I think you probably remember the trailer had some sort of lid on top.
It's a table.
Okay, and is that like a homemade?
Yeah, I just made that myself.
Yeah. That you can take off and it has legs, or
No,
you
just-
utilise it
no,
whilst
just-
it's on top of the trailer?
Just for quick camping, you just drive in, pull up, park, put your stove out, make your tea.
Oh, so it's used as a platform potentially,
Yeah, yeah.
and you, how then have you access of what is underneath it?
And through the tailgate.
Okay.
It doesn't cover the whole trail.
Yep.
Have you still got it?
That is out the back. Yeah, that's been cut down though, and it's fitted underneath. It's fitted to Bunnings sawhorses, so it's just another table now.
Yeah.
Feel free to look at it if you want
Yep.
to.
In order to get the bodies into the trailer, did you have to take that top off?
No.
How then were they put in?
I just lowered the rear tray and lifted and rolled them in. That wasn't easy.
What else was in the trailer?
You're testing my memory now. There was a jerry can and just odds and ends. Just a camping stuff.
Yep. Would you have had like gas bottles and things in there?
No. I only carry a small gas bottle, and that would have been in the car.
Yep. Would you pack things in containers with lids that you could put in, say, all your...
Not in there. They're all in the car.
Yeah. What about your chainsaw?
In the car.
Yep. in reference to the fuel container in the trailer, would that be 4-stroke or a 2-stroke
That was a jerry can. That's extra fuel for the patrol.
for the patrol? All right. And so,
I think I had it.
yeah, where would you have had the
Tied it at the front, if it was there.
for the? You're talking the jerry can.
Yep.
Okay. If you take a chainsaw, have you got a kit in regards to your sharpening tools and?
I've got a box with chainsaw written on it at home. Yeah.
And that's all in the car.
All in the car, yeah.
Right. You don't mind the smell of fuel in that?
Not in that car, it's not noticeable.
Right. It's the old beaten up truck that just takes you where you want to go.
And the chainsaw, it leaks oil like all chainsaws do.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Do you have the back seats down? Like,
On that trip, that was before I put in the gun cabinet in the back.
Yep.
And so the seats would have been up on that one. Completely up, just like a conventional sedan. And then there's stuff piled in on top.
how difficult was it? And I asked this question given my father used to have multiple sclerosis. He had no use of his arms or legs, and on occasions we would have to pick him up and do things like that. And I know what a dead weight is like. And how did you go? Like,
I've picked up people at work as well, helping with disabled people, getting them into their seats, and yeah, that's very heavy.
yeah. But how can you describe how you who went into the trailer first and how that occurred?
I can. Does it make any difference?
Well, not really, but I'm just I'm just trying to sort of picture, because
Miss Clay
there's
went
a
in
link.
first, and he went in after.
Sorry.
Miss Clay went in first, and he went in after.
All right. Would they have gone in legs first or up torso first?
I really can't remember. I think it was
Did you have to
neither.
Did you have to move
sideways?
Yep. Did you have to move the
The lid? No.
no? Sorry, the vehicle. Did you move that up rather
Yes.
than having to drag them?
Oh no, I
Okay.
had to move the vehicle.
Yep.
Up to here.
Now your exit that you took.
Yep.
So what time do you think this happened?
About 10.
Yep. Okay. And then, so you're then at the Myrtleford exit at what do you think?
Oh, not until. I think a witness said it was around about midnight. I think it was later than that. It's more like 1 or 2 in the morning.
Yep. And then you've left there. You've then travelled. Did you know where to go to get out, or did you? How did you?
I had been there 20 years ago.
Yep.
And I knew that there were
This one.
3 tracks to get in now. I want to go to the Zekersburg, this one, and the Wombat Range.
Wombat.
So how did you
Yeah.
how did you navigate from let's say the station, Wollongata station? How did you navigate from basically that end? Did you use maps or did you just sort of follow the track?
I followed the track, and Maps was telling me where I was on the track.
Yep.
It wasn't difficult.
Did you do the river crossings?
Yep.
Was the travelling at night daunting or?
It is much more difficult at night because you can't see very far, and perspective is difficult. Going up, going down, it's more difficult to tell. Lots of shadows on the road with all the culverts. It's difficult to see in those shadows. And The only thing I specifically remember from 20 years ago is that I went in on that track
On the Hern Spur, which is super steep.
and it was horrendous. It scared the life out of me back then, and so I chose this one.
Which is Humphreys track into Wombat Range.
Do you mind if I ask some more questions?
Yeah.
In reference to the firearm and the when you were selecting which one to take and you've loaded up what do we call them, cartridges I suppose, would it be for the shotgun?
Mm-hmm.
How many cartridges did you have?
In total,
Yeah.
in the magazine, or
Well, sorry, how many magazines? I should rephrase that. How many magazines?
2 magazines,
And each of those magazines holds
5 each.
Right, and would they have been loaded to capacity of 5 each?
Well, one of them I didn't load at all,
Yep.
and the one that I was, like it's only, when you're stalking deer, you're not likely to use more than, one shot. So I only take one magazine when I'm hunting. The second mag is just if I lose it.
Yeah. Fair enough. So, do you remember if that contained 5? Was it actually?
I honestly
full?
can't remember. It's it will take 5, but it's really, when they say okay, it's a 5-round magazine, but it's very difficult to get 5 in there.
Yeah. No
So
problem.
I can't remember if it's 4 or 5.
That's okay because you later spoke about
Testing it to see if there was one left.
Yes, and there was one left that you fired.
Yep.
Where did you fire it?
Into the air.
Okay. And do you know where it would have landed?
Over the river.
On the say the eastern side or the northeastern side of the river.
North of the river.
Yep, north of the river. All right.
What about the rounds that Mr. Clay shot?
He shot those to the east.
And the
In the air.
the cartridge itself, what did you do with those?
I went around and picked them up, and I can't remember if they were burnt or not. I don't know.
All right. Do you remember if you had have found the wadding?
No, I didn't go looking for those.
Yeah. All right.
What about the round that shot Miss Clay? What happened to that? Do you know?
I don't know. I presume it's in the ground there somewhere.
Okay.
Have you had a look for it?
Or could it have been lodged in her head?
No.
No.
Well, I don't think so.
Is that because of the removal, the part of the skull that was missing?
Yeah.
And in reference to the part of the skull that was missing, was that something that you had to collect?
That was all put into I cleaned up all of that with a bucket and a spade, and some of it went into the fire and some into the river.
All right, and if it's going to the river, do you know where and what river?
The Wonangata River.
All right, close to your campsite.
At the campsite.
Was that, would there have been skull fragments or was it?
Oh, maybe. Yeah, I wasn't looking closely.
Yeah. Did you, so from memory, that bit of river, you can walk down to the river, there's a little section, probably where you were camping.
Yes.
Was it down that section or was it more towards there's like an embankment? If you're sort of heading towards the swing bridge, it's sort of an embankment along that section.
No, it would have been down towards my camp.
Yeah.
Since the Wonangata trip 2020, have you used the 12 gauge shotgun since then?
No.
Is it Is there any particular reason for not using it?
Well, I've been in lockdown for almost the whole time.
Yep. It's. Would it be any reason that the shotgun brings back bad memories? It's
I guess that's probably a part of it. Yep.
At any point during this time, have you considered, geez, I've got to go and see the police about this?
Yeah, I have considered that. That just brings you back to
The scenario you outlined.
life ends.
When you were going through that, I listened and I see you're taking it from three sort of different perspectives, a doctor, a tradie, or yourself. At the time that you went away,
Well, if a tradie was a member of this club,
yeah,
then he'd lose that for sure.
yeah,
But in the example I used, if he was a member of a fishing club or something.
yeah,
So it's just those particular
things that have become
occupations.
so passionate
They're
for you.
important for me.
Yeah.
They're very particular, and they're very specific,
Yep,
and finished.
yep. But at the time, were you actually in the position that you had been stood down anyway?
Well, pardon me, stood down, yes.
Yep.
And thankfully Australia has stand down laws, elsewhere around the world.
Yep.
Staff just sacked.
Yep.
That's what happened.
Yep.
But in Australia, okay, stand down means that you're still on our books, you still have a job, you still have rights, but you're not getting paid and you're not accruing any leave. Well, I could be wrong about that.
Yep.
I don't think you do. But you still have a job.
You're right.
Yeah, you are.
We are a very fortunate country in
Yeah.
that sense.
You are totally right.
I know a lot of people in New Zealand, and on that week that I came back, in New Zealand just said, right, all you junior guys, there's about 300 or 400 of them, see you later, you're gone. No stand down.
Yeah. But were you able to actually see through it? Were you seeing through the disappointment and the possibility that this is, we're talking about a pandemic, and it's devastating, it's affecting the world, and that you may never actually go back because
Yes, there was a possibility that the whole industry might never recover.
So did that affect your yourself in your own mindset, your happiness in going away? Were you in at like a depressed
No,
state?
I wasn't depressed. You work in that industry for long enough, you get retrenched eventually. I think I've been, well, it was the Air Force, that wasn't retrenchment, I just had to leave, they told me to. And then after that, during the pilots dispute, I went and joined an airline in Tasmania for 6 weeks it lasted. And then after that I joined Airlines of Tasmania, that lasted a year and a half, retrenched in that recession that Paul Keating said we had to have. So how many times is that?
That's three.
That's 3. And then I joined Ansett, collapsed, 4. Went to Qatar, that was fine. That was good. And then to Jetstar, and we've got the pandemic. So for me, that stand down, that's the 7th time. A lot of the young kids, it's their first.
Yeah.
But they will be facing this many times in their career. For yourselves in the police force, you're very lucky. Police are always needed. You're never going to be stood down
No.
or retrenched.
But then you're
It's
right.
a different world out there for that sort of industry, and you just get used to it and roll with it.
In looking at how meticulous you are, and in being able to make decisions and you do them in a number of steps. You indicated that, all right, the shit has gone down in the campsite. You set yourself tasks.
This decision-making process, like, it might have taken me 10 minutes to explain it to you, but really takes just a few seconds in reality to sum it up, assess the situation, and make a decision. It wasn't a long process.
All right, but in the situation we've got two deceased people.
Yeah.
And your whole mindset. How do you control one?
Emotions.
Your emotions, your heart rate, the adrenaline pump, the ability to make an informed, I suppose, decision step by step, because it appears that in a relatively short space of time, it's like, okay, we've got to get out of here. And it seems that you've weighed up the fact that, all right, I can drive into Sale and tell the coppers what the go is, or I can make 100 more decisions as to what I'm going to do in order to cover up.
Yes, we're all different. We're all very different.
True. In reference to, you say you think that somebody has sighted you at Talbottville, do you know what sort of time that would have occurred?
That must have been around about 7:30
in the morning.
I guess so.
Yep.
You've, like I was saying, I don't wear a watch, and
Yep.
I can't recall watching
The clock in the car.
clock in the car.
No worries. Yesterday you actually mentioned, whilst travelling along Cynthia Range track, that it became, it was time that things were starting to lighten up. Would you agree with that?
Yes, pre-dawn light.
Yeah. And when we're talking about pre-dawn light, we're talking just the colour of the sky. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
It's starting to lighten up,
Yeah.
to provide you a bit more vision of, I suppose, the fauna and the areas around.
Yes.
Would you agree with that?
Yep.
When making your way out McMillan's Road after leaving the bodies in Union Spur track, is there any particular reason why you went left and travelled north on the Dargo High Plains Road? In reference to leaving and going out via Dargo?
I'm trying to think why I chose that path.
Would you have been weighing up the likelihood of being sighted by more people?
Possibly. I can't remember.
Yeah.
The property you took from their car, the phone and the drone,
Mm-hmm.
where did you have them positioned in your car?
They were in the back seat, in the middle.
And where were they located in the packing up, the moving out? Because was Russell wearing jeans, shorts, something like that with pockets?
Can't remember. Oh,
Did you have to go through their pockets or anything like that
No,
in order to
no.
take anything from their
No.
position?
no. Both the phones were in the car. Oh no, one of them, one was in the car, one was still in the drone.
Oh, okay. In the drone controller? Or
No,
the
in
drone?
like hanging underneath it in a cradle.
Oh, I see. I see. So when you talk about the phones in the back in the middle of the seat, is that where the drone was?
That was there with the video.
And is that where the keys were?
I can't remember.
What about the knife?
That was in there with the phones.
Right.
Did you leave the knife in his chest?
No, I pulled that out.
At the time of you two coming together with the knife, and even prior to that with the firearm, did you have possession of your Damascus knife?
That was on my belt the whole time.
Alright. Was that actually the knife used in the stabbing of...
No.
No?
You can test it if you like. I never even thought of it.
Yep.
It's just there. I eat with it.
Yep.
It's not something that even came into my mind. I just saw him running at me, and I defended myself.
Yep.
It's like when your officers came and arrested me. They said, "Are you carrying anything?" I said, "No, not carrying any weapons at all."
Yeah.
And they handcuffed me, and it was only then that I remembered. Oh, but I do have a knife on my belt. And I told them I lifted up my shirt, and there it was.
No problem.
It's not something. I don't think of it as a weapon. It's not a
Yeah.
weapon.
The fact that the tracks and everything were locked down, what planning did you go through? What thoughts were there in order to what you need to do now?
Sorry, what was the question?
Following Brett and another member coming and
Yes, yeah.
what was the process between July and November in returning? What was going through your mind, and was there a planning process that was put in place to return to dispose of the bodies altogether?
Yes, I believe that I was on your radar, on a watch list, and so I had to do that at the earliest opportunity.
All right. And that opportunity came in November, probably after Cup weekend, because that's generally the weekend that the gates will open to open up the high plains again.
Yep.
Does that give you any reference as to when you may have gone up, the 3 days that you had?
I'd have to look at my roster. Yeah.
Yep,
It's
no, that's
necessary.
all right. That's all right. En route from home to the return, which way did you go on that occasion?
I drove up through Briagalong.
Briagalong, yep.
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 And then on the Freestone track.
That's quite windy and it follows the river a bit.
Yep.
It goes past the Blue Lake.
Yep.
And
then onto the Dargo High Plains Road.
You pop out at the bitumen.
Yep.
Yep. Do a left-hand turn. Whilst travelling, was it something that you were regularly checking your mirrors? Were you looking that you were being followed, or what was going through your head?
Just focused on getting the job done, that's all.
Right. Did you take any implements to assist in the disposal?
The shovel and the kerosene and some matches.
You didn't take any chainsaws or anything? No. No knives?
Well, I always carry that Damascus steel knife on my belt when I'm at camp.
Yep.
It would have been there somewhere, but
Alright.
not on my belt while I'm driving.
Hammers, splitters?
No.
No.
I don't think about that.
Just thinking of knives, the knife that went into his chest, did any of that break?
No.
By the time that had been burnt, was the handle missing, and it was just, and was it a knife that the handle was on both sides, and the blade went through and became
It was
part of the handle?
just a full tang stainless steel kitchen knife. It had 2, maybe 3
rivets
pins through it.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't remember if it's 2 or 3. But the handle burnt off and it was just the blade left.
Alright.
Or blade and tang.
And that went into the big river.
Yes.
And are we talking Big River at Pines campsite?
Yes.
Okay.
Did you hear the phone reacting at all?
No. Not at all.
Did you turn it on, or were you aware that it was already on?
I thought it was off.
On the second occasion, when you actually return to the location where the bodies are, were they visible to you when you arrived? Is it, or were they covered up?
Covered with sticks.
So that they were not visible?
Not visible from the road, no.
Was there any smells or anything that would have indicated?
Yes.
You indicated that you threw up on a couple of occasions.
Mhm.
What brought that on?
Smell, memories, the task at hand that I had to do.
Yeah.
But I just thought it's just one night, I've got to do it, I've got to finish it, and then it's done.
Yeah. The recording device is just, I think, giving us indication that we're sort of coming to the end of these discs, so we might need to suspend. Are you feeling okay at the moment?
The thoughts to answer your questions are quite confronting.
I can understand that.
Yeah.
Do you wish to have a break?
No, let's just get on with it.
All right. Do you mind if we we'll suspend this and
Sure.
change?
If I could change to maybe a coffee, that would be nice.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Greg, do you agree that the time is now 5:30?
Agreed, yeah.
This is a recommencement of tape-recorded interview between Detective Acting Sergeant Brett Florence and Gregory Stewart Lynn of 10 Brunton Avenue, Caroline Springs, conducted at the Sale Police Station on Thursday the 24th of November 2021. Also present is Detective Senior Constable Passingham.
Is Senior Detective Passingham present?
Greg, do you agree that the time is now, I know it's about 3 minutes to 6 p.m?
Yes, I do.
Yep. Can you just state your name, full name and address?
Gregory Stewart Lynn, 10 Brunton Avenue, Caroline Springs. Date of birth, 12/9/66, 55 years old.
And just got to give you these rights again.
Yep.
Before continuing, I must inform you of the following: that you do not have to say or do anything, but anything you say or do may be given in evidence. Do you understand this?
Yep.
Have to give you these rights. You have the right to communicate with or attempt to communicate with a friend or relative to inform this person your whereabouts. You have the right to communicate with or attempt to communicate with a legal practitioner. If you're not a citizen or permanent resident of Australia, you have the right to communicate with or attempt to communicate with a consular office of which you're a citizen. You understand these rights?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. You wish to exercise any of them for the minute?
I'll call later. Happy to continue that.
Yep, okay. Daniel, you've got some questions?
Yeah, we're just covering. You've gone back to the scene prior to the lighting of the fire. Had you removed any of the debris that's over the top to see what and if everything was still in place?
A little bit, yes.
All right. So you're able to confirm that both bodies were okay. Following the burning, and this has occurred. Well, I'll start again. Do you know approximately what sort of time the fire would have been lit?
Sunset.
And how long would it have burnt for?
Sunrise.
So are we estimating that to be like a 12-hour period, or are we talking about
less than 12 hours?
All right. And in order to spread the debris of the fire, was the fire cold enough to be able to do that?
Pretty much.
Was the fire hot enough to penetrate the ground?
Not deeply.
No.
So it burned from the top down.
And the wood that you used, were you selecting stuff that was of particular size?
No, just whatever was nearby.
All right. So anything from twigs to logs that you would have carried?
Just from nearby.
Yep.
And like I said, there wasn't that much necessary. It wasn't like a bonfire or anything.
Yeah, yeah. Do you remember the clothing that they would have been wearing?
No.
As a result of the fire, were there noises and smells that were, and I hate to ask this, but
I don't recall noises, but the smell wasn't from the fire, it was just from the location. And it was very confronting, and I was sick several times.
yeah. You indicate that you travel home and you go to Walhalla or an area south
South,
of
there was a
Walhalla.
state forest south of there.
Were you down on the Thompson River?
Oh yes, it would have been. Yeah.
And were you anywhere near the pub, the old pub?
No, no. No pub there.
There's
I think I know the one you mean.
there is a pub down on the
near-
Walhalla, and there's a river crossing at that location. On the
No.
Thompson,
No, it was near a bridge.
where the railway bridge is.
There's a walking bridge, and you can drive across the river below.
Would that be Aberfeldy Bridge?
Could be. I'd have to have a look at the map.
Would you have taken a four-wheel drive track in order to get to that location?
Yes.
All right. And would you have been on the
Southern side.
Oh yeah. And the bridge itself is quite tall, metal, and you can actually walk across it.
Yes.
It's got
It's a historical bridge.
old
Yeah.
sleepers. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's the Aberfeldy Bridge. No, it's not. It's not Aberfeldy. There is another
I don't
name,
know.
but it's a bridge in Walhalla anyway.
But I've been consequence, I just slept there on the way home.
In reference to the lockable bags and the gun bags that were used at the time of being in Wanagata, do you still have them?
Yes, I do.
All right. But you've since purchased bags that are lockable?
Yes.
All right.
A rigid gun case.
As in a solid,
Solid.
aluminium case?
A solid plastic.
Yeah, okay.
Like a Pelican style plastic case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really solid, very thick.
Yeah.
About 5 mil thick.
In regards to your description and the storage of the shotgun rounds and magazines being left on the front seat.
Yep.
If I had have been in the adjoining campsite and I was a bit of a nosy person, could I have seen?
Yeah, you would have. Yeah. And normally it would have all been locked up, and they shouldn't have been left out anyway. This was actually my first ever deer hunting trip in the high country. I'd been on one other hunting trip, again it was by myself, but I booked in a property with Western Hunting Properties in New South Wales. And it was at Corran Hill Station near Tilpa.
Oh, for pigs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I only saw big tracks and didn't see any pigs.
Yeah.
But that was in 2019, I think, in the winter.
Did you book that through Wild Boar or something?
It's called the Western Hunting Properties.
Oh, right, yeah.
So I've been hunting on that occasion, and I took my sporting rifles for that trip, an 1873 Winchester and 45 Colt. So it's not suitable for hunting, but I had a nice time by myself. 20,000 acres all by myself. Didn't see anything.
Take the Yabby nets and.
I didn't bother with the yabbies. I could have camped down by the river, the Darling River, but I chose to camp. It was about 10 k's further into the bush, which was down where the pigs were meant to be. But this was the first hunting trip for deer stalking that I'd done in Victoria, and it was with the new rifle, the Ruger American, and with the new shotgun, the Baratheon. And I must admit, now in hindsight, I was ill prepared for the security of those. Since then I've changed practice, but obviously ill prepared. I think that was your question.
Yeah, look, I don't have any more questions, and I think it's become a bit of just a discussion, I think, now. I'm done.
If you have a look at my setup now, I've made custom myself at home a wooden sleeve cabinet which fits in the back of the Patrol, and inside that sleeve fits the plastic case which has two padlocks, one at either end. You open it up, put the rifle inside, the rifle bolt removed outside of the case, with a cable lock right through the rifle, closed, locked, slid into the wooden cabinet, and from the outside of the car.
You wouldn't even know.
No, you can't see anything. Yeah. It's all locked up.
Yep. Greg, you're going to be charged with the murders of Russell Hill and Carol Clay. You do not have to say or do anything unless you wish to do so, but whatever you say or do may be recorded and given in evidence. Do you understand this?
I understand.
Do you wish to say anything in answer to the charge or charges?
I'm innocent of murder. I haven't behaved well. I've made some poor decisions. But murder, as I understand it, I am innocent of.
So if you've made it to the end of this video, well, what's your thoughts? I just couldn't take my eyes off it. I thought, wow, I'd probably be skipping through a lot of this, but it just kept engrossing me in the whole way Greg Lynn was explaining what happened, and even writing down his thoughts as to why he would cover this up. But if you haven't yet, go and watch the pub test treatment of the High Country Killer, because this has gone to court. There is a verdict, and I found that verdict rather surprising. So check that out if you haven't done so yet. But thank you very much for watching. Hit the subscribe button. It does help the channel out. I'm Owen. You've been watching the pub test, and we will see you on the next one.